I totally have the new Star Wars movie in my head.
Yeah, because it's gonna be good.
It's. I've got the whole plot down.
Is it like Patton?
Oh, mine's better. Mine's like his is good. It's funny. Mine's like
serious?
to a T.
You said Patton. I thought
General Patton,
the movie Patton.
Yeah, it's gonna be like General Patton in space.
I guess that was a pretty successful movie, so that would be a smart move. But
Yeah,
interesting shout out there.
yeah, it's a really good. It's a really smart
I think
move
they
for
should
that
do it like
audience.
Citizen Kane
Yeah,
with like Luke dying.
yeah,
Tatooine.
Oh, he's gonna die. It's in my script.
he's gonna die.
Yeah.
He has to die. He's old.
Leia and Han die in the first 20 minutes.
Oh, that's awesome. They should die in the
While
first
having
2
sex.
minutes.
Well, it's pretty early.
Banging.
You know, it's
while having geriatric
it's the whole
sex.
the whole entry, like the whole intro takes about 10 minutes, and then Anakin gets to them, and then they die. It's awesome.
Anakin gets to
Anakin Solo,
Okay. See, I don't know that.
and he's like
'cause
18.
you're
Oh, I
like
made it.
nerd.
I'm making it up.
No, but
he
that
witnesses
exists,
them
right?
having
A little
sex,
bit, yeah.
and they freak out, and then they die.
Wait,
No, like
a little
he-
bit. Didn't they have twins?
He sees that they're building the Death Star within Coruscant,
I don't know.
and then it blows up, and there's a
But
Death Star
following
inside.
like the comics and the
Telling you.
books that they've done afterwards, the canon stuff,
Yes.
don't they have kids?
Yes.
They have twins,
They have
right?
twins, and then they have Anakin or Han Jr.
Which is it?
Well, Han calls him Han Jr., and everybody else calls him Anakin.
That doesn't make any sense.
And he's the one that's the most, like, force. He's like...
Is he Anakin Han? Like, is it Han his middle name? So they call
I think
him
he's
his middle
Han
name?
Anakin.
Like, this is what I'm going to get hung up on the most, is why are they calling him
Hanukkah.
Han? Hanukkah. Is it Hanukkah? And so then people shorten
solved.
his dad shortened his first part, and then everybody else shortened.
Everybody's
his
like, Hanukkah? Seriously? Can I just call you something else instead?
Can we call him after that guy that almost killed everybody and killed a bunch of people? Like, we'd rather have that namesake.
They were like, Chewie picked it out.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Signed In. I am Jeremy Superfro33.
I'm Craig Profdresser.
And I'm Sean Shonix.
I don't know how this will sound to everybody, but we may have some background noise. Mm-hmm. We have some fans going.
Yes.
Summer.
We brought him in.
Audience.
We brought him in.
Yes. Nice.
No, what? This is crickets.
Say it. Everybody wants your tag.
Catchphrase.
Do the catchphrase, Sean. Make them
I don't know what
clap.
the catchphrase is.
That's it. You playing dumb. That's it. They love it.
Sweet. They've been
you're just
clapping
like-
since I walked in.
You're like Kramer coming in the door.
Yeah, exactly. You should have heard my stand-up last night.
No, but for real. So we, if there's a buzz in the background, it's not you. It's us. And
No,
we
it is
apologize.
you, actually. You should check those headphones.
But yeah, it's your shitty equipment.
Is it your computer?
It's not our
Maybe you should do a
equipment.
system check.
You guys funded this equipment. It's perfect.
Update available.
It's perfect. Your equipment is shit, though. So get on it.
We should just play like random computer noises during the show.
Bonk.
Yeah.
Like a lot of errors.
Yeah.
What was that?
A forced shutdown error sound of some sort. Anyway, so
Messenger
how are you
pop-up.
guys? It is summer.
Yeah.
It's warm. Finally.
It turned over, yeah.
It made the
did.
flip?
Yeah, it did do that.
So we have the fans going so we don't kill each other
Right.
and die.
Well, no guarantees.
Not in that order necessarily. But so you guys had a couple weeks?
Yes.
Yeah, it was busy. It was okay though.
I didn't
gotta
play
be
a lot
serious.
of games.
Yeah.
Well, there wasn't a lot to play.
There
No.
wasn't.
No.
Not at all, really.
But E3 hit,
Yes.
and here I was thinking, well, shit. You know, E3 happens 2 days after our last episode.
Right, right.
1 day after our last episode. So
Yeah.
the day we publish.
Yes.
And we're like, well, we won't get to it till 2 weeks. So what are we going to have to talk about that anybody else hasn't already covered a billion times? Then 3 days ago, the world breaks in half. So and everything gets revised.
Look it up on Google News.
Yeah.
Everything gets
World cracks in
revised
half.
and things change. And now everybody who did their podcast, suckers.
Yeah.
Everybody who did their talks. will be forever looked at as just a funny moment in history.
Is this just validating your procrastination tendencies now?
Well, like I said, I said maybe we should wait a couple more months and let everything fall out, and then we can have a discussion.
Yeah.
Because who knows? But anyway, we're going to talk about.
That's what I say every time you talk about E3.
Don't get it twisted. We don't have anything like interesting to add about E3 still, but we can talk about what happened. But who knows if we know what the fuck we're talking about? So
Everybody's got out their bingo cards ready for us to say the things they expect us to say.
and a whole lot of nothing. If that's the center square, you're safe.
Yes.
So we'll get to that. Maybe we can
the
dive into
winning
why
card.
Craig hates E3 so much, because that's interesting too to me. But I kind of hate it too. I love it and I hate it. You know, it's like an abusive spouse.
Yes.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that means, but it's probably something profound.
Yes. No. Maybe.
Yes.
But I played a little bit of XBLA games. Like I checked out a couple of the demos.
Yeah.
I mean,
and outside of that, I was
not
cheating
much.
on my Xbox.
cheating on your Xbox.
And I'm going to talk about some of those games. So
Okay.
get ready for it, folks.
I've got a little bit to talk about outside of Xbox too.
Awesome. We're branching out, people.
I've been playing with a shit ton of Legos.
Dude, this is not going to happen here.
Okay.
Well, maybe we can have a Lego corner if you want
What
it.
about the Lego movie coming out? It's gonna be awesome.
I didn't even look at that trailer.
Oh my
yet,
gosh.
but it looked. I heard it looked awesome.
Oh, it's gonna be so sweet. I thought it was gonna be animated, and it's actually like stop motion.
Oh,
type.
is it? I haven't seen
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why people were freaking
With a
out.
capital.
I should look at it.
Yeah.
The capital F.
No, PH.
Oh, PHUCK.
I don't know.
I don't know either. What's happening?
Anyway, but yeah, I was cheating on my Xbox in my comics.
Yeah.
And a lot of
You didn't
things.
do nothing. Well, and your wife.
Vacation. Oh,
Well, no.
Okay. Sorry.
That's a
Did I go
totally
too far?
different. Yeah, that's a totally
Yeah, I
different
think
context.
All of a sudden, I ruined it.
Hey, she bought me the Legos. So I guess.
so vacation for her, not from her.
Wait a minute.
This is hilarious. She brings home Legos for you. It's like, Sean, go play with this for like an hour. I got shit to do.
Then she
Okay.
just sits back.
Maybe look into what she's cheated on.
Okay. I had a pretty good time.
Oh,
We ruined everything. Mission accomplished. The
Taking it-
crowd's going
taking
wild.
it too far. That's that's our catchphrase for the show. Taking it too far.
The fans are going nuts at us beating on Sean. I'm going to jump in. Also, I'm going to throw in some Last of Us. So PS3, folks.
Okay, sure.
Get used to it. I guess. Not really.
Yeah.
The 2 times in a year that I have a PS3 game that I give a shit about. And then I bought a 3DS. Actually, 2 3DSs.
Jeez.
That's fun.
So 60.
6DS squared.
Okay.
No, 3DS squared, I think.
There
it
you
would be. For the new Animal Crossing, which is even worse. Animal Crossing New Leaf. So I'm going to talk about that.
Oh, it's a bad
too.
game.
It's a
No,
bad game.
it's a game for kids, and I love it. It's not for kids though.
Which is
No,
even
it's for
worse.
obsessive freaks.
Yeah, it's for giant man children
Yes.
and
I can't
adult
leave it
children.
alone.
Adult children.
Weeds are growing at this very moment.
There are things I could dig up in the yard and collect. I need to collect them all and mark them off in my book.
We did receive a review copy for an indie game on PC that I'm going to talk about. Bad Bots.
Awesome.
Yes.
Good to hear.
And
Anything else on
Various
PC
other
side?
demos.
Okay.
No, I'm just going to stick to that
Stick
this
to
time.
that. Sounds good.
Slow intro.
Fable 3 was free for gold.
That's right.
That's pretty odd how that showed up.
It was week of E3, so I think.
I know.
and then they
It's,
announced it.
it's technically their first free game.
Yeah, they're going to be doing that for
Technically.
gold.
Yeah.
For gold accounts, some free games.
So I'm
Jumping
gonna,
on that PS
I'll
Plus
talk
wagon.
a little bit about that, but right
Did you
now
play some?
that's all that's going to be talked about because I, of course, deleted my save file from my original game. So when I rented it from,
because you played it
yeah.
before.
So if you want to
You're
know
starting
what I
over.
felt about the game, go back to episode 57 of the signed in,
57?
of the signed in podcast, and
Probably don't.
The signed in pull list.
the signed in podcast, the Pollcast.
It'd be interesting. Sometimes
But
it's fun to go back and
Episode
listen to those
57. That's the
episodes.
one. So whatever I say in that one is pretty much what I think now because I've gotten to about where I got.
I think I put on Twitter that when I was
You
going,
you probably customized your character. That's probably what you
Really,
talked about.
you probably just got a bunch of STDs.
no. I yelled at the dog once and I got mad at myself.
Oh well,
I
then
hit the wrong button.
now you can start over and not
So
be
that
an
might be
abuser.
different. That might be different from the first one.
It is fun to go back and listen to some episodes. I put on Twitter a while ago that it's fun to listen to, when I was putting them all on YouTube again. It's fun to listen to them all, but like fun in a way that like your mom puts like an old picture of you on Facebook,
Yeah.
where it's like, yeah, it's funny, but you don't want everybody to fucking see it. So I'm putting up some of those ones on YouTube. I'm like, this is funny. Do we really want people to hear this again,
Sure.
or maybe for the first time?
They won't.
Whatever.
They won't.
You got to know where you come from, right?
Right.
Roots. We're only where we are now doing this high-quality product where we haven't talked about a single game in like 10 minutes.
We've skirted around games.
Yeah.
We have. We've mentioned games, just not talked about it.
They have been mentioned in passing.
They have
the
been
worst.
made and developed and published in the last couple of weeks.
You know what'd be funny is if we did an episode like this and we talked about all that stuff we were going to talk about and then had like conversations like this about what we were going to talk about for like an hour and then just end the show.
Drop the mic.
And we don't talk about anything. Oh, I guess we'll get to it next time. No, it wouldn't be funny. Should we just talk about games?
Well, then what would you put in the show notes? Everybody would know.
I'd lie.
They don't look at them.
I did it for the PS4 one.
Oh.
Well, or the PS3
Yeah,
when
that's
we
right,
changed to
that's
the PS3
true.
when you were abandoning us for that one episode.
That was a year ago coming up.
Oh. No, it was a year
over
ago,
a year
April
ago.
1st. It was April
Crap.
Fool's episode.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You missed it. Sorry.
Wow.
But you've been here since.
You
so
can
that's what
hear us
counts.
getting older at this very moment.
E3. Should we talk about it?
I don't want to talk about again.
All right, E3. So E3 happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
We get the press conferences
It's.
every year.
I mean, can we talk about the
Mass
big elephant
hysteria.
in the room? That's
What's
the
mass
most important
hysteria?
thing here.
What's the most important thing here, Craig?
Wii Fit Trainer and Super Smash Brothers. I mean, come on.
I'm not even talking about Nintendo's press conference because they didn't have one. They just had their
They just
presentation.
announced that and dropped the mic, and that was their whole press.
Yeah, that's
conference.
right. They announced it and set the mic on the ground
Gently.
gently,
Don't want to break
Sorry.
this.
Sorry.
bowed,
Sorry.
and then walked out of the room.
Sorry.
Sorry. Bowed multiple times. You can't see my bowing, but it works. Is that
They can
racist?
probably hear it.
I don't know.
Like this.
If I'm going into the mic and back and forth like that.
Yeah. That's
Let's
good
not
mic
do that.
technique.
Anyway, so Nintendo, I guess you can just get them out of the way now. They didn't have a press conference. They just announced they're making new versions of games they made 20 years ago
Yes.
again, still. And that's what their demographic wants. Case in point with me buying Animal Crossing this last week. That's 10 years old. So it's...
Well, that wasn't
Yeah.
too different from all the other game announcements. To be
That's-
perfectly honest,
that's true. Well, there...
I mean, it was the big thing about E3 was that it's going to be all about the games. We've already
Right.
made our console announcement, so this is going to be
Yeah.
all about the games. But really, I mean, the major games were all sequels for other. I mean, most of the games that I was getting excited for were all sequels for other games. There were
Maybe
a
that's the
few
key.
newer things, but
Maybe that's the key. The new things didn't excite me.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because there were, some new things that were being shown, but they were things that I don't
little
really
bit.
necessarily care about, like that Titanfall. Like I know
I thought
that
that looked
everybody
pretty cool.
and it looks cool, but I look at it and like I'm not gonna sit and play that for like in the way that it's intended.
yeah.
Like for a long period of time and like multiplayer and like getting together with
The
people and playing
seamless
it.
multiplayer.
Right. And there's some
fusion.
cool aspects of it, but just like it's just another shooter for me. In some
It
aspects.
does. I mean, yeah, it's.
And there's a huge market for that,
There's
and there's a lot of
differences,
people that
but
love
yeah.
that shit, and it's going. I mean, people are going crazy for it.
Right.
But to me, I don't know. It takes more than the shooter to get me excited.
Yeah, I wish it did remind me a little bit more of like our Red Faction Guerrilla days and stuff,
Yeah.
where it was, because Red Faction Guerrilla was a shooter as well, but there was a little bit of depth to it, or a
Yeah.
little bit of variety.
It
that
looked like
helped
there's
to
a
break
lot
it
of
up.
organic stuff going on in there
Yeah.
too, where it's like on the fly jumping into this and jumping out,
Right.
and you have your mech and
Yeah.
kind of jumping around the areas, and
Disabling
so
mechs
it
and-
definitely looked a lot more organic in that way.
Yeah,
But I don't know. It's just a little shooter.
it seemed intriguing. Yeah, I mean, but it was enough to kind of stand out. And then Below from Cappy.
Oh yeah. It almost looked like an indie game.
It is, well, yeah,
but I mean,
basically
like,
it is.
it's going to be
Oh.
a major release, though, right?
Yes,
For them, XBLA game, right?
Yes, although it appears that they hope to make me blind because those fuckers are tiny on the screen.
They
And
really
it's on
look tiny.
purpose. Like
Yeah.
they said that they made them tiny.
It looks great, though,
It does look pretty great. They're the folks who did Sword and Sorcery and all that stuff.
on the PC side.
Yeah.
Awesome. So the big things before we get into a lot of the other game stuff, the
Oh,
console
sure.
announcements.
Yeah.
The reveals came a little bit ago. There was a lot more information that revealed about the PS4 because Xbox One already kind of had its reveal
Yeah.
back in May.
Well, PS4 has reveal like
They did, but they didn't show anything. They
February.
didn't show the system. They didn't talk about any of the the pricing points. A lot of the specs.
Neither talked
a lot of that stuff was thrown up in the air. So. So the Microsoft has their press conference. Don't really discuss any of the specifics about the system itself, the Xbox One. A lot of the concerns that people have had, which was not unexpected for me. I mean, I didn't expect them to come out and oh, let's talk about everything that everybody's bitching about for the last. Why would you put that on your center stage? It was filled with games, just as they promised, and there was a lot of game discussion, regardless of if you liked them or not. And then Sony had their press conference that night. And completely dismantled Microsoft. They had their game talk, but then that whole second or that last 15 minutes or so of that press conference was pretty much just body blow after body blow for Microsoft. It was crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, I've watched E3s for a long time, and I don't know if I've ever seen them specifically come out and target the other person directly. But they had the prime setup for it too.
Yeah.
A lot of it was getting overlooked, like when Sony's mentioning that they, their used preferences or their used policy for their first party games is going to be you can use them. Well, a lot of people overlooking the fact that they mentioned first party games, and that doesn't apply necessarily to all the other publishers who they later clarify could do whatever they want.
Right.
So there was really nothing.
Well, that's similar to what EA had before.
Exactly.
And,
and so that's kind of left up in the air, so who knows what that meant at the time. But coming out of there, the PS4 was announced being $100 less than the system that they announced, $500, which I think we talked about after the reveal. We had guessed that it was going to be around the $500 mark.
Yeah.
We nailed it.
Nice.
We did. A lot of people were saying $400, so I don't know what they were thinking. But that Kinect camera, it adds in.
Yeah, exactly.
So you take out that camera option with the PS4, it's $100 less. I'm curious to see if there's still going to be a version of Xbox.
Well, and I watched a video or something, and somebody talked to the folks in Sony, and they talked about that announcement of the $400 because this is a reversal of the announcements for the current gen, because the low end PS3 came out at $500, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
And they said we remembered what happened when we announced that. So.
But it's also hilarious to me that everybody was freaking out about that price point for the Xbox One, and 7 years ago, the PS3 was that much or more for their $600 version or whatever, and that was 7 years ago. Yeah. If inflation hasn't changed any of that, then it's okay. But then that price point of them doing $399 is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So coming out of those two press conferences, it was a little concerning to me because we talked about during the reveal, and I held off a lot of my thoughts or comments or feelings about it until after everything at E3 fell out.
Sure.
My concern was the used games, obviously.
Yeah.
Sure.
Rental's a big thing for us. We play a lot of games so that we can talk about them on the show here. We share a lot of games so that we can talk about them on the show.
I like to play a lot of games if
Sean
I can.
likes to play a lot. I like to play a lot of games too. Just to play them.
Yes.
And that you cannot do that spending $60 for every game. Not everybody can.
Yeah.
And the problem is also I hang on to everything, so I'm not a big trader-inner. So I don't turn over a lot of games.
Yeah.
And there are people that buy them, sell them back, and then only pay half price for the next game or whatever. And if you continue that cycle, it can be okay. I don't operate that way.
No,
I keep everything because I'm a hoarder.
If I want to play it and I don't have it, I'll be upset with myself.
So coming out of those press conferences, I was left a little stunned and didn't know what I was going to be doing come November. And did you feel the same way?
I felt exactly how we were saying in the last show. Is I feel exactly how I did when PS4 was announced.
Yeah,
I feel exactly the same way.
PS4 or PS3?
Or PS3, sorry.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Right when because I was a PlayStation fanatic.
I guess there's a big history point too because we all were PS2 people.
Yeah.
Nintendo and PS2 people for me.
Yeah, that was me too. Yeah.
And then that new generation when I made the switch over to Xbox 360. Really, the whole formation of our show was because we all had that system.
Yep.
Well,
the Xbox 360.
Yeah. Well, although partially that came because we had the show in some respects.
Yes.
I mean, my decision to choose...
Oh, that's true.
My decision to choose an Xbox wasn't because I weighed the pros and cons of PlayStation versus Xbox. It was because I wanted to play Rock Band I want to play Rock Band with you.
Nice.
You had Rock Band on 360, and I'm like, okay.
So I was the influencing factor. And
Basically.
Rock Band.
Yes.
Well,
I was
Gears of War was influence for me.
Yeah.
So
I was talking with somebody on Twitter the other day about that's the big unanswered question of this. Are my Rock Band systems going to work? Like, why is everybody ignoring the biggest problem with this next gen? And that's my drum kit. Can I use it anywhere?
Funny.
Anyway, so that all came out a week later. I'm just going to throw this out here now since we can then move forward with the current information. But a week later, the information came out where Microsoft reversed everything just a couple of days ago, this last week.
Well, they reversed the DRM.
The DRM,
yes.
I'm sorry,
Digital rights
not
management.
everything. Yes,
Yeah.
the DRM, which is the big key for the used games, the rental games. They also reversed
your
the
online
always
checks.
online, the 24 hours. These are a lot of things that the 24-hour thing didn't affect me, but I know it affected a lot of people.
Sure.
And was a key issue for a lot of people. So they reversed those things. I think those are good. That definitely put them right back into contention on that PS4 side. Because I was worried I was going to have to make the ship jump again. Jump over to the other side.
It's a ship jump either way. It's not like you're carrying stuff over.
And that's the key, right? So that's the other problem, in my opinion, for Microsoft before they made this change, is that going into this generation is like really, last generation, you did have a backlog that mattered.
yeah.
Like the jump from Xbox to Xbox 360 and PS2 to PS3, yes. Those, they did have backwards compatibility at the beginning.
At the beginning.
Correct.
Not
So,
anymore.
but I'm saying at the time that they switched over. This generation, though, to switch over, neither have backwards compatibility.
Well, it's a completely different system.
Exactly.
On both ends.
And so you're ground zero for both systems day one. So that's really a bad position
It
for
is.
Microsoft to be in if they're not looking as even.
Yep.
Because people don't. It doesn't matter what my library of 360 looks like.
Right.
I can, and if you have so many games now that are cross-platform, there's really just a handful of exclusives on either side. Over the last few years, it's gotten less and less and less.
Right.
But when you look at that, there's really no reason to not go with the smarter. My problem is I prefer how Microsoft looks. I prefer their layout. I prefer their online. I prefer their network. I prefer everything about them over the display of the PS3 or the PlayStation, and the setup and the updates. Yikes! And the controller. So, but it was going to be a hard decision for me to make. But now that they've made that switch over, it's a lot easier. I'm glad that they've slowed down on some of those DRM things. I think it's something that's coming.
Yeah.
It's the future.
Yeah.
They're just delaying the inevitable.
Right.
Because consumers aren't ready for it.
Well, here's the thing.
Yes.
Here's my take on it. And part of this is informed by things that I've read online and all that. But, the rhetoric was thick at E3. And it was just kind of annoying the hell out of me because, it was like this big party of like, it was like, remember Snaps? Way back in like the 90s when, the insults competitions and stuff like that.
Like, yeah.
Like Yo Mamas and stuff like that. That's kind of what it felt like.
Right.
Watch.
Well, it was very
filled in.
It felt like a political big. Like it was almost the two parties were fighting.
You could feel Sony in particular. You could feel them just playing the crowd and the crowd just having fun being played. Essentially.
Well, and also you had a problem of stocking that crowd with actual fan people, not just journalists.
Right.
Journalists, because they did have people that were lined up for 3 days that were like the Sony fans that they let a certain amount of those people in.
Right.
And so those people are going to react.
Right.
And that, I don't know if that's, it's odd for a press conference. It's an odd setup because it's like a rally almost.
One of the reasons I don't like E3 is just because it's all a hype fest. And so then you're supposed, once it's done, then you're supposed to be rallying for whatever you like the most, like it's your
champion
favorite
a cause
sports team or something like
making
that.
A flag,
and it just annoys the hell out of me. But okay, here's the funny thing is because Sony was the big hero because they basically said, guess what? We're doing everything exactly the same.
And the crowd,
and we're taking some things from the 360,
and the crowd goes wild.
and what Microsoft was doing, which admittedly was not was kind of a I don't know, it was a bullish move. Basically, they were taking things that a lot of people pointed out that they kind of were emulating what Steam does. Steam has you have to be online. It has DRM. You know, you can't really. People don't really share computer games. You know, because a lot of them are downloadable nowadays.
And there's no used market.
There's
games.
not really any used market for it. You know, all these things are more PC centric, and consoles are becoming more PC like, and especially in terms of broadening themselves. You know, consoles aren't just gaming centers anymore, which was one of the key differences between consoles and PCs. But the problem is that they didn't really learn from the things that Steam has done and other, you know, online developers have done, and take the good things and, you know, leave out the bad things. You know, Steam is the most successful way to release PC games these days. Yes, but there are a lot of people who really hate Steam. They really hate that DRM. There have been little, you know, other places like GOG, Good Old Games, and all that. Those websites come up, and they are specifically, we are DRM free. You know, and people try to gravitate towards those sorts of. There are people who do that. You know, and it was just interesting. I mean, it makes some logical sense in terms of, okay, so we're looking to go in a direction that is more like PC gaming, maybe a little less like console gaming. However, the audience for the two are not really all that same.
Right.
Yeah.
Because those people would already be playing PC games, at that point.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
because you also, you know, you factor in cost as an issue.
Yes,
and they're much cheaper on the PC side. So if somebody has that setup and has that preference, they're already going to be there doing it,
right?
Because it's ridiculous amount of difference of money wise.
And honestly, there are many people who maybe don't like those features of like Steam and stuff, but they put up with it because there are advantages to it. I mean, there's another similarity in terms of because now with the Xbox, they're not going to have the different channels basically for games. Everything's just going to be games.
Yeah.
And I know some of the indie developers were a little concerned about that, about getting lost in the shuffle with the big AAA games and all that. But a lot of people pointed out, well, that's exactly what Steam does, and you know, indie games are actually quite popular on there.
It's not killing them,
No, it's not killing them. I kind of forgot where I was going with it, but you know, there are a lot of beneficial things. There are a lot of positive things about the PC side and Steam, and so you know, a lot of people kind of turn a blind eye to some of the things that are maybe more frustrating there, but you know, Xbox doesn't necessarily open up to those positive kinds of things,
right?
And so it was an interesting move because it was like, we're going to change how you interact with this system, and we're going to use things that are actually, you know, gaming. These are not unprecedented things in gaming, but they were unprecedented to console.
They're new
players.
to you, yeah. And the thing is, it's like. And that was the key from the beginning, is their PR handling of this was a nightmare.
It was.
Their message was a nightmare. They didn't know how to communicate any of these things to the audience, but they're also trying to communicate to a deaf audience.
Yeah.
There is a huge amount of that group that is not going to listen and doesn't care.
Right.
They just hear like the top level. Like, I'm not going to be able to. They take the most basic thing out of there. I'm not going to be able to sell my used games to GameStop anymore. Not looking at the fact that model is fucking terrible for anybody who makes a game. That model is fucking terrible. And we talked about that during the reveal, is that you have to try and balance what is good for me and what I want, and I can understand why I would want that. But I also need to look at that objectively, try to, and say, I understand what I want isn't necessarily good for the people that make those games and allow them to continue to make these games.
Right.
By letting me rent them and not having to buy those things.
I mean, rentals and used games are very important to consoles. Granted, you know, we were talking about how the PC side doesn't really have a market for that. However, if you look at the distributors, GOG, Steam, Green Man Gaming, stuff like that, they have massive sales constantly.
Right, because
they're constantly rotating through their stock and putting it on sale. And I mean, there again, they took the aspect of like, okay, well, you know, you don't really need to do used games.
Right.
Yeah.
But they didn't, or at least they didn't talk about, you know, the idea of, well, here are these incentives to make you want to pick up a game.
Yeah.
You know, and they can sell games for $10 that normally would SRP 60, 50, 40, whatever they are. But they can sell them for $10 because 100% of that $10 is going back to the people who made, or not 100%, but you know, a cut of it.
Yeah.
At least a portion of it, a percentage of that is going back to the people who made those games, as opposed to a rental or a used game that's being sold, that 0% is going back to that that person that made that game. So, you know, any profit at that point is better than none.
The big issue was that Microsoft came out looking very corporate
Yes.
for the whole thing.
Well, and it was a very
Understandably so. I mean,
a lot of those things seemed to come off as a "fuck you" kind of thing to their audience.
yeah, because it was corporate. That's kind of what I was getting at.
And the problem is that I may be able to. I understand the reaction and the knee jerk from people on that stuff. But when they, I think it was Don Matrick who had the comment when they asked. I think it was Jeff Keighley talking to him about. It was that famous thing where it was the pre-conference interview that they did that they showed, and he was talking about, well, what do you say to those people that can't connect? Every 24 hours for the online. And he's like, well, we still have 360. We recommend a 360 for those people. And people were like, how fucking dare he? And I'm like, well, why though? I mean, that is the honest answer.
Yeah.
The problem is people don't want the honesty.
Yeah.
No.
But that is they want to be sugar-coated. But that I kind of respect an honest answer because I'm not going into fucking Best Buy and being like, hey, I really want a wireless computer. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Do you have a wireless network? No. Well, here's one that you have to plug into your computer. Fuck you. I want that wireless one. How dare you tell me to buy this other one? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the same because they do the same thing, not compared to two different systems.
Right.
But if your limitations are stopping you and they're giving you this other alternative, I mean, this is how the system works.
Yeah.
And also, and I worry about this because them packing in the Kinect, them packing in the Always Online, those offered them a system that could be given to people in a home that they knew everybody that owned this system had those things.
Right.
So people making games know that everybody has a Kinect, everybody is always online. Now we can incorporate those somehow into our game making.
And that consistency has been a strong thing for consoles in terms of game makers. I mean, if you look at the PC side of it, a lot of, there are times where it's like, come on, give us a PC version. I mean, some of Rockstar's games never come to PC. It's unclear whether Grand Theft Auto 5 will. Red Dead Redemption never came to PC. Because you have to create something that will run on as many systems as you can, but you have a billion different variations on systems.
Right.
Whereas consoles have that standardization. And then again, and I mean,
like with the current existing of Kinect now, it's such a splintered market because game makers can't make it a priority because they don't know how many people.
Exactly.
Not everybody has it.
Right, yeah. And it's seen as a peripheral thing.
Correct.
And so it's not a core thing that people are worried about. If you make something, then it's seen as like a gimmick that you've added on to the game, that it's not a core aspect of the game.
Which has got, I mean, that Kinect has been saddled with that the entire time for its life.
Exactly. So I'm actually kind of excited to see what sort of advances people will make with Kinect and, actually incorporate some very useful things.
Because it's not happening on the PS4 side. Because they have their iToy.
We're doing the same thing.
They have their iToy
before.
That's going to be available, but it's not going to be packed in like a required pack in. And so that's why I go back to like wanting. It would be nice. I'm torn because it would be nice if Microsoft would be able to remove Kinect and offer a package that would be exactly identical.
But you understand why they're going.
But I understand why they're, and so I kind of hope that they don't because I wish. That, and everybody's freaking out about the Kinect spying on them too.
Right.
Microsoft doesn't want to watch you masturbating, dude. Just get over it. Right?
Well,
they
that
don't.
one guy at Microsoft.
Well, there might be one.
That guy might. That guy's a little weird.
There might be a couple people.
A couple people. Sean wants to, but
I don't.
The guy at Microsoft
He's joined chat groups with them.
I just wait.
People
while
are way
I'm
too
doing
fucking
it.
paranoid.
Yeah.
And so now, Microsoft even released a statement like you're going to be able to turn it off.
Yeah,
you're going to be able to like scale that stuff back. It's going to be whatever you want to be. And everybody's like, show us a video of how you do it. How fucking paranoid do you have to be? Then don't fucking buy it.
Yeah.
Don't buy it. Don't put it in your house.
Can I throw something in here because I keep
Do it.
I keep mocking PlayStation's stance at E3.
You do.
I don't think
Because you're an
I'm not
Xbox.
against. Yes, exactly. No, not at all. I think there's rhetoric on both sides.
Yes.
I just find it hilarious that their stance was status quo. Let's go.
We're moving
everybody-
forward.
Well, I was not surprised at all that that's what people enjoyed.
Yes.
Was like, yeah, things staying the same
The problem is too those
except more graphics.
more graphics.
graphics.
Yes, more graphics.
I mean, that's all we're getting out of a new
Correct.
generation, basically.
That's correct.
I mean, that Kinect stuff, yeah, it can be kind of scary. Yeah, you're like, well, why are you forcing this on me if I'm not really interested in it? But, that's actually trying to develop something.
And
like
push forward.
Trying to push stuff forward.
Right.
Again, I'm sounding like an X-bot here. I'm
You
sure.
are. You're an
I'm
X-bot.
sure. But, that's stuff that I'm actually interested in hearing about is like actual innovation and all that. But, just being like, we have different processors now, and
More space.
here's some sequels.
that you'll need because we want you to download the games.
I do think it's cool that now here's something very strong. I think it's cool that Sony's allowing indies to self-publish on their system. You know, I understand what Microsoft's trying to do. They run a very controlled program.
Yeah.
Although sometimes you look at the games that do get through that controlled program and you're like, really? This is what we're doing here?
I thought you guys had a tight grip on this shit.
Yeah. So, however, you know, the idea that you have to have a publisher seems a little extreme. You know, they did mention that they're reworking their whole certification system, so it's not quite as big of a hoop jumping system as it has been.
Taking 7 days for everything
and
to go
costing like $10,000 or something.
I will say, and here's an Xbot mode for you. that indie section of the PS3 conference, where they showed all those indie people and all the indie games that are going to be coming, was the single best moment for me the entire E3.
Yeah.
Like, that whole display of those people on the stage was fucking awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's the exciting stuff there.
And that's on the PS4. So there's your Xbot moment.
Yeah.
Like, that was I was completely irritated that wasn't on the Sony or on the Microsoft side.
Yeah.
But I'm happy too because I love the games. I'm going to have both systems. I have both systems now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have them at some point. I'm just going to be able to play those games.
Sure.
But that got me the most excited out of everything I saw. That was just awesome.
I saw some people kind of analyzing the whole thing and kind of pointing. They were coming to a conclusion that Xbox has this view of who their audience is, and it's a very kind of limited view. You know, people who like to play multiplayer, who like, you know, these certain AAA games, big blockbuster games, and that's who they were trying to talk to. Whereas Sony was trying to get at a slightly different crowd.
Which is funny because Microsoft is also so, like, entertainment center driven.
Yeah.
Which it seems like that would be a more broadening of your audience,
exactly.
not pinpointing.
Yeah.
So it's weird that they're broadening with the entertainment side, but then pinpointing with the gaming side.
Right.
Which I guess is a complaint coming from people too, that it's turning into an entertainment system and not a game system.
Well,
But
they've all been that way for a while.
But then again,
now.
I argue, like I said before, where I turn on my fucking Xbox and 75% of my people online are watching movies or watching Hulu.
Yes.
Yep.
No, it's true.
My people. My people online.
My people. I'm on the fence totally about the whole thing, so we'll see.
It's a long time till November.
It is.
I said that the week of E3, and then the week later they fucking reversed everything on DRM, and everybody was saying that wasn't going to be possible.
Yeah.
Like, it's too far into the decisions for them to make that change.
Yeah.
And then a week later they're like, oh, we're changing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys see any gaming stuff?
Yeah,
I'm going to mention a couple, but
I was about to
we
say,
could go
let's
over
get
the
out of this
forever.
quagmire and talk about a few
There's
games.
time.
Really, that
One last thing I want to mention. We talked about. It kind of came up to us where we talked internally about, well, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of people coming to me saying, what do you guys do for you guys do 360, what's going to happen? Well,
hey, fans, quiet it down.
you yelling at the fans?
Those are the ones always
like
coming to you. They're always coming to you. You're like, what are you going to do, Jeremy?
No. They came on email.
Oh, gross.
Don't.
So as you can tell, our quality has not suffered at all.
You
on
just
the
made
show.
them cheer.
We're staying consistent. That was his catchphrase.
That was
Gross.
gross.
That actually is one of your catchphrases.
Gross.
A little bit.
Anyway, so they were asking, what do you...
mumbled a lot.
I did get it from on Twitter. I got an email. I got some other stuff where people are like, what do do you think? Because they know we do the show.
Some other stuff.
Some other
Carrier
stuff.
pigeon.
Carrier pigeon. I got a letter in the post.
Pneumatic tubes.
In the post. I got some parchment. I got with a wax seal.
You did the Ouija board.
Sir Jeremy. Sir Fro of Super. What dost thou think?
About the one of Xbox.
The one of Xbox.
Will you partake this fall?
Prithee,
Jesus Christ.
impart upon me.
Anyways,
What? This is gold.
thine wisdom.
Gold.
Of what we were going to do. Well, my first response to that on all those levels was, well, 360 doesn't die in November. November doesn't hit, and then the 360 doesn't work anymore.
Yep.
So it's going to continue on. I think both people have
Unless
a large...
it's a PS3 update.
A large... I
Did
think...
you hear about that breaking? Anyway, sorry.
Exactly. Yeah. Good timing. That was the morning of the day that they announced the DRM scale back. I can't think that stuff was not planned to come out that way. Well, should we do it today? Sure. Let's do it. So, it's not going away. There's a huge install base of 360 and PS3, and I see that so far, like we just talked about, with them not making a lot of technical leaps or like pushing forward outside of graphical capabilities, this doesn't seem like a jump that's going to be for...
I think the technical term is graphicalities.
The most hardcore group. I mean, this is a hardcore change at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's not going to really see anything until next year that you're really seeing that stuff pay off, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have side-by-side versions of things coming out, so you're just going to have graphical differences is what you're looking at. So that stuff is going to... PS3 and 360 are going to continue on for a while. Yeah. That's a decision we have to make, down the road. But I do see it as a good opportunity for us to kind of widen, like we talked about at the beginning of the show, widen our view of a lot of gaming. We do play them on a lot of systems. A lot of people that listen to our show play them on a lot of systems. Yeah. So we'll probably be incorporating a lot more as we go along. We're still going to be Xbox focused and Xbox centric. Yeah. But we'll probably be including things here and there, especially in this episode when we didn't have anything Xbox come out, pretty much. So
pretty much. Yeah.
It was good timing.
Yeah.
All around.
How about that for a bad maneuver after E3, then 2 weeks of no disc releases and some pretty...
And on the other side, you had Sony, who had E3, and then that Friday, fucking Last of Us comes out.
Yeah.
And everybody talks about it's the game of the year. So, good week for them.
Yeah.
Good week for them. But, it's like I said, November's a long time away, and there's still going to be lots to go after that. So we'll be around.
Yeah.
So speaking of games,
yes,
let's end on a positive note.
Are we going to talk about some games from E3?
Let's talk about a few games from E3. I mean, we mentioned Titanfall and Below. Those are two that looked somewhat interesting to me. The rest were all sequels.
Sort of.
Hotline Miami 2, which is not coming to Xbox, but I'm excited about because they're doing some very different things.
I still haven't looked at anything with it. I just saw the announcement, but I didn't look at any of the... Did they talk about...
The gameplay is going to be pretty much the same, although the story structure and, they're doing a lot of different kinds of things. You're going to have multiple characters that you're playing as. There's a little bit of almost meta stuff going on.
There was a little bit of crossover in the gameplay in the other one, and so I kind of like that idea. I would like them to play with that a little more. So
Mirror's Edge 2 was announced by E3, or E2, EA. It was announced by EA at E3. Thank you. Although I can't remember if the date was still pretty up in the air.
Yeah, it was. It said coming at the end of the tag, which I thought was clever, and I like that when people do that. It says coming when it's ready.
Yes, yeah.
Which was funny because don't put a date on it.
Makes sense.
Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
You just set yourself into a corner doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Dead Rising 3, they showed. Yes. That stuff looked really awesome. The gameplay that they showed during the press conference didn't look like it was a lot more just the action stuff. It didn't look like a lot.
That's pretty much what all their trailers look like.
Yeah, it didn't have the humor aspect, which is okay with me because I know that stuff's still going to be in there, like the goofy stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Like putting Lego heads on zombies.
Yeah,
but it looked awesome.
Yeah.
And when he was driving that car
maybe
around,
just won't be all serious.
driving his car around and smashing through shit, and like that looked awesome. So all that destructible stuff looked great.
Yeah. And it's an example of having your cake and eating it too, because they're creating more of an open world than the time limited limited environment that the first two were. But if you liked that, if you liked searching for that bathroom to save in and all that, then you can turn that mode on.
Yeah.
But here is one thing where they're taking advantage of the fact that all Xbox Ones are going to have a Kinect. It's got a listening function where, like, if you're too loud, or you can use that to attract zombies to you.
Oh, really?
Or, yeah, like if you make a distinct and loud enough noise, but then they're also like, that's kind of the gag too. Like if your roommate comes home and they're pissed off and they slam the door, and while you're trying to sneak past these zombies, they might hear you and come running at you.
That's a funny gag the first time it happens. then if you play that with, so basically I can't play it with my dog in the room because any noise on the screen and then she starts barking and then they'll all start.
You'll get the experience of going through a zombie apocalypse with a dog.
Yes.
So I'm gonna have to kill her. I want to be like, I wonder how many hours I can make it in the game before I decide we have to fucking eat her.
That's funny.
There's no other. I love her, but we just have to eat her now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, you can never play that game with friends.
She's ruining us.
Funny.
Everybody's just sitting watching and
keeping on the.
I think it has to be a pretty distinct, pretty significant,
quote unquote sequel prequel line. Batman Arkham Origins. They showed a little bit more of that, which looks like Batman, which looks awesome.
Yeah.
I love this. It looks great. Looks fun.
See, this is the thing. It's all sequel. It's like,
okay,
they're doing it again.
What about Quantum Break?
I didn't really
From
follow
Remedy.
much of that.
I saw the gameplay they showed. You know, they're incorporating like live action, kind of like they did with Alan Wake,
Right.
Yeah.
But making it more of where you're. I think the idea that they're going with is that you're basically experiencing a
They're just turning it back to the Sega CD.
exactly. You're experiencing an episodic
Yeah.
television show or like,
Yeah.
live action show that the gameplay elements are changing things that you see.
Yeah.
Now, I hear that.
So it's a choose your own TV show. Choose your own
Exactly.
adventure TV
You
show.
create your own, maybe.
Yeah.
I hear that, and my brain goes, oh, so there's like 3 possibilities. You know what I mean? Like, instead of going with this
Right.
person, I go with this person, and now this happens instead of this. So I want to hope that it's much more reaching than that, and
Yeah.
that there's a lot more variety to it.
Right.
And I have a lot of faith in the stuff that they do. I think that they, presentation-wise, they do some awesome stuff at Remedy. So I'm really looking forward to it, and that's
Nice.
an Xbox One title. So that's good news.
Yeah.
Right?
Exclusive.
That's something. Exclusive. They killed it. Winner. I'm declaring it a winner.
Oh, now I'm going to have to murder you.
Xbox One winner. Who wins,
Just declare a
guys?
winner.
Did you guys see that Plants vs. Zombies, the Garden
Yeah.
Warfare? I thought that looked awesome.
Yeah.
People are bagging on it. I don't know what.
I don't. It's
goofy.
fun. Yeah, it's goofy as
but
hell.
it's like a first-person shooter, Plants vs. Zombies, where
Yeah.
you're running around, but it looked insane.
First
Nice.
or third? I
Oh, it's third. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
third person.
Third per-
So it's like a team.
Yeah.
But I think you
kinda
only control the
co-op.
plants.
Yeah, you control the plants, and so you can set up different plants around, so you can set up like turrets, but then you're playing as one of them as well, and you have different people
Yeah.
on the team that are playing as different kinds of plants, and you're free running around with the zombies and shooting them and everything.
That's
it
pretty
looked,
sweet.
it looked hilarious.
Yeah.
That was at the EA show. I enjoyed the EA press conference a lot.
Yeah.
I thought there was a lot of good stuff coming out of there. And Lego Marvel Superheroes. They finally showed a trailer for it. It looks awesome. There's not what you can say about the Lego game, but seriously,
Yeah.
I'm happy at the Marvel side. Sean's excited. I know.
This will be probably the first
likes
one.
Thor.
Yeah. This will be probably the first one I buy. Like,
You haven't
flat
bought
out.
any of the others?
Nope.
I thought you bought Batman
No.
or Batman 2.
I played the shit out of it, but I rented them big time. But
I bought
this
Batman
one-
2 and then didn't finish it. That's me. What's up?
I wish
I
you
Andy?
could
might
hear
have one
my
of the.
head
I might
shaking
have
over
one of
here.
the Star Wars ones, and I never returned to it. Like
Or
I
is
may
it-
have.
You do
bought
have a
it.
Star Wars because I thought
Yeah, you do.
I think
Yeah.
I do.
the
So you're a liar.
the
I knew I'd catch you.
Attack of the Clones
I think
one.
so. Yeah. I can't remember.
But that's all I really have for game stuff that I saw. I mean, there was a lot of them, but like you said, there wasn't. I don't know.
It was,
There was a lot of games though. I mean, it was a lot of game focus. It's just
it was, but it was just like, here's the next Call of Duty. Here,
Yeah.
It's got a dog. Here's the next.
that's gonna
here's,
die.
Here's the next
Enjoy
Assassin's
it.
Creed. It's got pirates.
Ugh.
You
Hey.
know, it's like
Hey, remember that part you really hated about the last Assassin's Creed? All the controlling those boats. We're going to make a game around it. Thanks. The stuff looked awesome. The flow of it when he was
yeah.
like doing the run, jumped
That's-
on a boat, and then was controlling the boat. That stuff's awesome.
that's what that's kind of what I'm getting out of like this is our innovation, more graphics, things looking
Yeah.
well, and that's
Smoother.
That's kind of what they're talking about, like we can tell stories so much better. I'm like, you don't really need better graphics in order to tell stories better.
I played games with
I'm
really bad
pretty
graphics that had good
sure-
stories.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not a necessity. Sorry to interrupt you there.
that Telltale Walking Dead game was kind of choppy and terrible
Oh my
in
God,
some areas.
yes.
And that told an awesome story.
Yeah.
I didn't even care.
Yeah, exactly. So, and so, we were talking about like being up in the air about things, and what we're talking about is a hardware update.
Yes.
I mean, if you boil
Yeah.
it down, it's
Yeah.
a hardware update, and so there are other ways I can do hardware updates. Then
I think that with any kind
be
of
more
new
useful to
system
me.
launch, you're not going to see the software benefits for a year or two
No,
coming out of there. So,
no.
2014 is going to be awesome.
I mean, we had some
You're
really
gonna start
nice
seeing that
360
stuff.
dashboard updates and things like that. And,
Yeah.
when they added things much later after the launch of the 360.
And the games next year and the year after are going to be awesome.
Yes,
I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait.
cool.
Yeah, I was up in the air, so it was kind of weird for me. I just kind of watched it with blinders on almost, like just kind of watching them and not taking it in.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know where I was standing. Whenever they'd announce, like they'd talk about a game for Xbox One, I'd just be like, maybe. Or that, I'm like, that might be, I might be getting that. Or, oh, there's PS4. Because I'll hang out with the 360 until it's,
Until you need to jump.
yep. I mean, it is
Because
going
we
to,
have it.
yep, it is going to be there until
Well, and even
I'm like,
even
I have to switch over.
the other reality is that even when you upgrade your system, you're going to still have to keep your Xbox 360.
Exactly.
So it's not like
Yeah.
you're.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping like I could get through to my new Xbox because my other one's breaking like a piece of shit. But it's not going to matter Because the new one's not going to play any of the old stuff anyway, so I'm still going to need to replace that one if I want it. Whatever.
Oh, well.
Are we done with E3? Did we cover everything?
I think that's good.
Did we declare a winner?
Winner is me.
The winner is the
Nintendo.
consumer. The winner is Nintendo.
No, just me.
just Craig.
Wii Fit Trainer wins.
That's why they backed
Well,
there.
let me talk about some Nintendo.
Okay.
Should I do that?
Yeah.
Some
Okay.
3DS?
Yes.
All right. So, my wife wanted a new 3DS.
My wife.
My wife. She loved a 3DS. Don't.
I'm sorry.
The whole
Oh my
thing.
god, I'm even stealing that from a different podcast that does that.
What?
Shout out when yeah. Sorry,
stealing
comedy
from other
podcast.
shows now?
I know. I've been listening to too much. Sorry.
Well, to be fair,
Sorry.
they're really just stealing Borat.
Oh my god.
right?
yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, they are.
Okay.
But
It's
I'm
good.
turning into
I
you
like
guys.
it. All right, so 3DS. My wife got new 3DS, the new Animal Crossing version, New Leaf. She was a big. I said we, but I changed it to her. She, and then I just added myself.
you're backpedaling hard.
She was a big Animal Crossing player back on the GameCube.
Yeah.
Back in what, 2002, something like that.
That
Whatever.
was like the start of our friendship.
That's right. Not because of Animal Crossing.
Aw.
Sean and I would sit downstairs and play HeroClix, and she would sit upstairs playing Animal Crossing for hours at night. And we would just sit downstairs and we would just hear.
Yeah. I loved it.
That's all we would hear. So now you can hear it wherever you go. I can carry it around with me. So she started playing, and I started playing, and so she got the limited edition, whatever. The 3DS, first off, is awesome. Like I kind
nice.
of ignored it
Yeah.
when it came out. We had a DS Lite that I have had for years now,
Yeah, yeah.
probably like 7-8 years, and we haven't upgraded in any of the iterations because they put out a new DS, I think, every 3 weeks. Like a new with some more letters
much,
after it.
yeah.
So this is
This one's a micrometer smaller.
this is the 3DS XL is
Yes.
what it is. So it's even bigger than the 3DS. But the tech is pretty awesome. I was not a believer of that whole 3D thing. I looked at it at the store and I'm like, I don't know why I'd want to play that. And then I sat down with it in my hands in my home and turned on that 3D. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. How are they even doing this shit? So it's nuts to me. I'm to show you after the show. 'Cause
Yeah.
you have to see that Castlevania game I got on it.
What?
Oh, yeah, it's awesome.
No.
It is awesome. So she picked it up. The game comes installed on the limited edition 3DS Animal Crossing. So she already had it. I played it. She started it. You're the mayor of your town. Everybody's familiar with Animal Crossing at this point. The appeal for me is the collectability, and everybody who listens to the show
obsession.
knows my obsession, my hoarding personality.
How about the factor that if you leave it sitting, then things are going wrong? Does that add into the obsession?
Things aren't really going wrong too much.
Oh, okay. Did they tone that back a bit?
Yeah, I mean, there's weeds and stuff that grow in your
Yeah.
town, but it's not very much.
Okay.
And I play every day. Yeah, and it's also much easier to play every day
Yeah.
on a handheld
I mean,
than it was
yeah,
on a
exactly.
GameCube.
It's
That's
Tamagotchi
really
the
awesome.
game.
It is a little bit,
it's
but
basically
cooler
what it
because
is.
I can get fucking shit that's awesome, and I can dress my
Oh, yeah.
guy.
What's the awesome shit?
Yeah, I can dress my guy up. Look. So here's
So
the
you
key.
have an avatar?
Well, for instance, I wanted a monkey for my entire life, and the main reason I want a monkey is so I can dress him in clothes, but like little versions of clothes like I would wear. So that's always been important to me. So having a game where I can clothe this guy and make him look like Link is awesome because I got this hero's cap and hero's shirt and he looks like Link running around. I'll show you. It's awesome.
That's awesome.
I've seen
Anyway,
pictures.
so Erin's playing the game, right? So she's a mayor of her town when you start your town. I can play also, and so you're just like live in her town. So I'm just like another person living there, but I'm not the mayor. I don't get to make all these decisions. So I'm
Yeah.
like, well, this is kind of sucky.
You can't usurp her?
And then, no, I cannot. I should.
Can't stage a
That'd
coup.
be awesome. If I go around talking to the other villagers
Yeah.
and be like,
Hold an election.
Putting up election signs.
how do you feel about what's happening here? at the top? Man, that would be awesome.
Right?
And they should let you come in from other towns
Free
and do it.
peaches for everyone.
I really think they should cross Animal Crossing with Lord of the Flies.
And then just kill everybody. Have to fight to the death. Is that what we're gonna do? And so I'm playing her town. I'm like, well, this is, and then we're handing it off. So long story short, I bought my own 3DS 2 days later,
And burned her town to the ground.
and a copy of the game. So I'm like, well, this is either a terrible decision or awesome. It ended up being awesome.
Good.
So I'm able to have my own town. We were able to visit each other's towns and hang out and swap things and like hang out and play because you can do all the cross connectivity and like run around. So it's been awesome. We just sit on the couch and don't talk to each other. except in game form. But it's no different. We're able to spend time and play a game together. It's no different. We're playing a game on the 360.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's been great. But I had to go in and basically ransack my guy who had set up. So I created my own guy who was exactly the same on the other one, and I totally single white femaled him, and like went over to her town and like took all his stuff. And then, like, came back, and so basically stripped him down to like nothing. He had no furniture, no nothing.
Well, you can steal shit from people.
Took all
in
his
other
money.
towns?
Well, he gifted it to me.
Oh, okay.
Because I single white femaled him.
Okay.
And I showed up, and so I essentially looked exactly like him. Showed up and took all his stuff, and then she evicted him. So he got taken down to nothing, and then kicked him out of the town, like demolished his house.
I think she
I don't
should
know where
have
he went.
left him
He's
there.
unknown.
It could have been like the bum version of you.
He should have
Like
been
the alternate
What if you
universe
find him
version.
on the street someday?
Well, yeah, that's
awesome.
what I'm
You should
hoping,
show up in my
like,
town.
You go to his
What
house
if he
and he's
comes
like
back
got a
and kills
cot on the
everybody?
floor.
That would be the best game
I want
ever.
like a Hotline Miami version where he just like strolls in and he's just like all like sitting there with a chicken mask on. I'm like, well, this is no good. Like I go into my house and he's in the basement.
Yeah, just standing in the corner.
You've ruined my
You
life.
turn on the lights and he's sitting there in like a club chair, just sitting. He's been sitting there in the dark, staring at the door.
You've ruined my life.
Naked.
Welcome home.
I've come to take it back. I like what you've done with my life.
Yes,
I'll
like
be
what
taking
you've done
it
with the
back
place.
now.
Yeah.
And then what if Aaron's like, hey, no, he's still there, and you're like, no, I can't play him
And then
anymore.
she comes to visit your home and you're like murdered in there. She has to deduce
the
that
body.
like the computer version just continues on its own.
This is it. I play and run around and do stuff like a bunch, and we don't know anything's different. And then one day I go to dig up like one of my
fossil.
fossils, and I dig up the body of my other guy. That'd be amazing. And then the game triggers like a response of "Ha." You thought you got rid of me, and now I'm played as this whole other character.
Turns black, and then like there's a pop scare there with like someone going, ah!
And I'm playing this whole other character the entire time.
That's an awesome game.
That would be amazing. That none of that happened.
And then the credits run. Animal
over.
Crossing by David Lynch.
It's over. It's all the same Animal Crossing. It's literally the same. Like, so
I like our version better.
that they've incorporated a couple other aspects from the other iterations that have come out. Like I think there was one for the Wii. I think there was one for.
I think
one
they should
of
add
DS's.
microtransactions.
Another one. I'm surprised they haven't. Honestly, that's crazy. So none of the NES games are in there. That used to be in the original GameCube version, where you could find the old Nintendo games and
remember
play
that,
them.
yeah.
I kind of was hoping that was going to be in here, so you could play them on the DS, but it's not. But it's a much handier format to be able to carry that around. It's a much easier way. You still have to do this bullshit friend code system where you both have to input friend codes to manage their online
Right.
system. But once you do that,
Yeah.
it's a lot easier to visit people via the wireless connection stuff. So visiting towns is really convenient and it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun just to run around, see everybody else's stuff, and talk to their people and try to steal their people.
It makes sense that they make it more mobile.
Exactly.
Tamagotchi.
Exactly.
You need to carry it around with me.
That's how it
Hold on,
should
I
be.
gotta feed him.
I want to collect all the stuff. Here's my other problem though: is like I want this. I want everything and I want it now.
Yeah.
So like the game is so slow paced where you can only get a couple things every day, and it's like the stores upgrade, right? So and you get new stores and new things open up, and there's spots for things that will open up eventually.
Do you build your daily schedule, not like your real life daily schedule around? Like, hold on, I gotta go on Animal Crossing.
Define reschedule my whole life. Define that.
Do you have an alarm set so you can wake up and
No,
go shopping?
I haven't, but Erin has. She has set an alarm because she had somebody coming over to the house and she had to go meet them. I did, and I just remembered it. So I made sure I showed up at that time. Anyway, so the point is, I go around this like market area, and there's all these shops and everything that aren't there, and I'm like, and so I know that they eventually open up, but it's after you progress.
So there's a bad economy in your town.
Exactly. So you have to buy things to make the stores bigger
destitute
and
Main
open up,
Street.
and you have to have time pass. And I see it, and I'm like, I want that now. Like, open up now. Like, I got really mad because on the old. Did you ever play the GameCube one?
Yeah.
Okay. So, KK Slider would come around on Saturday nights and sing a song, and that's how you collect all the songs. But it was only like a Saturday night at a certain time.
I
so you
would
had to
forget
be there.
about the game for like a month and then come back and it was like a jungle.
What is wrong with you? How could you forget about it for a month?
Because I would get sick of it.
What? How could you even get sick of it? I don't get this. So, anyway, so the first Saturday night we had him. I'm like, we're gonna go to KK Slider. I'm gonna visit your town. I'm gonna go in case we can both get like each other's songs. It's gonna be awesome. Don't go up there. Literally, don't go up there yet. This is my conversation. Don't go up there yet until I go there. Because what if the song starts? Like, I'm the saddest person in life. So. But then we find out that, KK Slider doesn't just show up like he used to. You have to get this club, which we don't even have yet. So I'm like freaking out because now we've had 2 Saturdays where I haven't been able to experience it. So I don't know when that club's going to open up. Now I'm freaking out. So
you need
game's awesome.
You need to institute some economic developments that provide incentives for businesses to move into your community.
That is correct.
Yeah, maybe
and expand.
Yeah,
I have something that's getting built.
Have you thought about having like a town hall meeting where
they don't want
you bring people in and find out what they desire?
You can actually, as the mayor now, you can go find out what is the list of the things that they want in the town.
Oh, really?
And then build those projects.
Funny.
And then it's like a donation thing that's set up, and anybody can donate to it. Hey, here's a hint.
Taxes.
Nobody fucking donates but you. It's set up so people can donate, but they don't donate anything.
Maybe that's if other people are playing in your town.
It might be. Like if they want to gift you some money.
Yeah.
I just go pay it off because those fuckers ain't going to pay nothing. They got it easy, just with fruit trees all over.
Well, sure, if you pay it off all the time.
They don't know about my secret history, though.
Your secret history.
Yeah.
Stealing the life of that other guy. If I'm outed, I'm done.
Your character started on a dark note.
He did start on a dark note. Would it go any other way? Should it go any other way?
I don't know.
No.
That is the most interesting.
You shiftily look over your shoulder every 5 minutes or something.
You should be.
With my 3D glasses?
Yes.
That's right. I have 3D glasses.
It's crazy.
It's awesome. So I'm going to continue to play it. I'll probably talk about it a little bit next time if anything fun happens. Don't be like that.
I found him
Adam
fossil.
Warrock did an awesome Animal Crossing song for that.
Because it's awesome.
The Mayor. It's a pretty good one.
That's great.
Not bad.
It's an awesome game.
Yep.
So I'm loving the 3DS. It's it's a nice system. So maybe I'll have some more of that Castlevania game to talk about next time.
That's cool.
I'll mention that because it's great looking.
Excellent.
That's it.
On the PC side, we do occasionally get unsolicited review copies for indie games that are coming out. Well, PC versions. Actually, because we had a PC copy of Metro last night as well.
Yes.
Although my computer was nowhere near good enough to run
right.
my little laptop. But I checked this one out. Bad Bots. Came out a couple weeks ago on Steam, so it is available on Steam, I believe, for $10 if I remember correctly.
Cool.
It's a side-scrolling shooter, kind of in a Contra style, but I played using a controller, and so I was using the right stick to aim, and the left stick was my movement, and press up to jump and down to duck and all of that. And the basic story is that you're this lone survivor on this ship that's heading towards Earth where all the robots went crazy and killed all the crew, and so you're trying to get to the mainframe computer in order to stop it from crashing on Earth and basically wreaking havoc there. And the story is pretty bare bones. And the coolest thing about the story, I guess, is sort of the history for the ship itself, the Titan, because it used to be like the flagship of the Space Armada, but then it was decommissioned and then bought out by like this junking company. And I thought that was a really cool aspect to the whole ship. And I think that's supposed to explain why there's all these robots that are capable of like, because they've gone bad.
Right.
I don't know if you guessed that.
I got it from the title, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
All robots go bad.
But I kind of wish there was a little bit more of kind of building that into it. It's pretty straightforward, but it doesn't do anything bad either.
That's also in the title.
They purport like 170 rooms in this thing because it's it's the kind of you go into a room, there's enemies in there, have to get past them, and there's a few platforming elements as well. Now I'm not a huge fan of joystick up to jump. Along with moving backward and forward. I think I've made that clear on episodes before.
Right.
It's understandable that it appears on a game like this, and I'm using a controller. I'm not exactly sure what the keyboard control and mouse controls are. It may have been a lot easier to do it that way. Probably was. But, on a controller, you need to do that because, your right stick is being used to aim, so you're going to be using that constantly, so you can't really press, like, A or anything like that to jump.
Sure.
But you could assign shoulder buttons or something.
Right.
You couldn't assign anything for that, but... So I would get to the so basically the controlling was kind of part of it may have been my controller. Part of it was probably me.
Yeah.
Part of it could have been just the control setup itself. Yeah. But it was pretty sloppy for me. My gameplay ended up being sloppy. Like, it's like, all right, here's this tunnel where there's a bunch of saw blades and you have to duck under some of them and jump over. And I'm like, so I'm going to get hit by every one of these saw blades. And sure enough, I did. One thing that was kind of a neat design element for it was if there was an environmental hazard like that, there wasn't a ton of those, but there would be like electric sparks or something. If you got hit by it, and maybe a couple times, like if it figured out you were fucking stuck on it, it would stop the environmental thing for a second to give you a moment to kind of get out of there, and then it like slowly start back up again. So it seemed very seamless into it, and it was a nice little break. The bots themselves, there are a variety of enemy robots. Many of them carry guns. Some of them are melee, and they'll run up at you. And you're just kind of blasting at them. You have a melee weapon, this fire axe, and you have your basic rifle. You're going to get a shit ton of ammo for your basic rifle. But, of course, it's not very powerful. And then you have a secondary weapon where you get much less ammo for that. And basically you can have one secondary weapon, but there's like a variety of them. There's a shotgun and a twin-shot rifle, which is like super fast, more powerful version of the rifle, and a cannon. And this thing called the Pulsar, which was kind of a cool weapon. It's very different from the others. It's sort of a short-range weapon, and it shoots out like these green rings in front of you, like you go, boom, 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 and all that. And it was kind of neat because
Did it get bigger?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, it was different because it was short range, so you couldn't use it to blast guys across the room like you could with other weapons. But it was much easier to hit enemies because it had a much wider spread. And what was neat about it was when it hit them, it kind of interrupted their animation. So, it was particularly useful against like melee guys who would run up towards you. And so it was kind of like this wall that they kept bumping into.
Nice.
Yeah. And for most of the secondary weapons, you can get extra ammo for it by picking up the same of that second weapon. But most of the time you would run dry and, there's a new second weapon and I'm like, fuck that. I'm just grabbing this thing,
Yeah.
The Pulsar was kind of neat, though, because it didn't have a ton of ammo, and you would kind of burn out of it pretty quickly, but it would recharge. Like, if you stopped shooting with it, it would actually recharge itself, so it would refill itself all the time. And, yeah, it was pretty fun. There was a little bit of backtracking throughout the ship. Didn't seem that bad. There may be a couple parts where I felt something felt a little tedious, but nothing felt really super repetitive.
Yeah.
Cool.
Although I would have liked a better map system. Basically, the map system is like on the background. You'll occasionally pass maps, and it's got like the ship blocked off into these big blocks. They're not equivalent to each individual room. It's sort of a section, and then your section will be highlighted. You can't really zoom in at it. You can't really figure out what that's called or what anything else is called. So you would have objectives and be like, get to this place. But I would have gotten myself lost, and I'm like, how the fuck do I get to that place? I don't even know. I mean, you can figure out where you are and sometimes where things are by looking at the walls themselves. They'll have the area stenciled on there, but there were times where I kind of got myself lost because I'm like, here's a different path. I'm going to go down here and clean out these robots. And then I get out there and I'm like, where am I going again?
Where am I at?
What's going on? Or I encounter this locked door and I'm like, I'm probably going to have a hard time finding this again once I find the key for this. And so a better map system probably would have been very nice. But the gameplay was pretty straightforward and done really well. The boss battles were a little clumsy again, mostly because I didn't feel like I had any finesse with the controls.
Yeah.
It was mostly I'm gonna unload as many bullets into them as possible. I'm gonna have this period where I'm gonna have to get hit. I'm gonna try to dodge it, but
you're
good
gonna
luck
get
with
hit.
that. Yeah, and hopefully they die before I die.
Gotcha.
Health was it's not regenerating health. You have to find health packs and stuff or a save station, which will heal you up. I liked it. It's got a kind of a retro style to it. It's not a super deep game, but it is. I'm not going to say like it's a super long game either, but it was a fair amount of length. I was playing it for a while, and I had a good amount of fun with it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, sir.
You are welcome. Thank you to the publishers whose name I forgot to write down. Or the developers.
That's us.
That's all right. No, it's not us.
No, I'm.
Sean, that was a fan.
Are they here?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
No, they're listening at home, and they were like, "That's us."
They're probably not.
Talking about us.
They're probably not listening. Nobody is.
Okay.
Are we going to move on to XBLIG?
XBLIG.
Indie games.
Indie games.
On our regular path
should
now.
I make it rain?
Make it rain.
I don't know. Should you? Is
All
it
right.
a good thing?
This is make it
Is
rain.
that going to make stuff get wet?
No. So we got Make It Rain. It sells for 80 points from 24 Karat Studios. This is a strategy simulation game.
You're going to simulate strategy?
So this is
If you don't, I can't play strategy games. I'm going to play this one. And
Let me
they'll
tell
play
you
the
what.
strategy games
Every
for me.
strategy game I play is a
Strategy.
simulation strategy.
So
I'm pretending.
So we got 24 Karat Studios. They asked the question, have you ever wanted to be like your favorite musical artist or favorite athlete and show up to the club and just make it rain money in
Oh,
there?
is this the pole dancing game?
Well, here is a game
no.
that will bring you as close to that feeling as you can get without actually spending $10,000 in one night. So you save money
getting
by buying this
STDs.
game. You save money
Is
by
there
buying
anything
this
besides pole dancing?
game. No.
What else would you make
Is
it
it-
rain?
So
Is it pole revolution?
Dollar bills,
so
y'all.
So you make it rain, but it isn't. You're not the stripper. Oh no.
You're the one throwing the money?
You pick from 4 strippers. 3
Oh my
are,
God! Is this a real game?
Yes. 3 are
I
locked.
think the title game is debatable.
3 are locked during the
of course.
trial.
Well, yeah.
They all have age, little bios. I think the one open
Likes
in
and
the
dislikes?
yes, I think the one open in the trial. She's the girl next door type. But
When you
knows
say
how to
bio, you
shake
mean
it.
like information, not like biologically. This is what's wrong with them. Like
No.
they have this
It's
one has
actually a
a,
power sheet.
this one has a yeast infection.
No, not that. They don't have that.
This one has herpes.
Well, I don't know. I didn't buy the game.
Maybe they do.
Yeah, maybe in the
Bio.
Challenge.
So, as
that's
the thing about the game is that's crazy is because there's a girl on the pole doing a little dance.
No.
Yes, it's true.
That game
and
is
there's
crazy.
There's a time limit, and what happened is you get these
Yeah,
little,
there is.
these little
Time limit.
little bills of money pop up on the bottom of the screen, and it starts in $1 increments. And there's a
Are you
there's
grabbing them?
well, the thing about it is there's a code. Each button has a different one. So one has a Y.
I
A
was going
red.
to say, is this a rhythm game?
It's not even a rhythm
So-
game.
so
you press
it's-
the buttons accordingly.
It's a quick time event version of standing in one of those little money cases, like those glass cases where they blow up the
Essentially,
the fan blows the money around.
because
You
then
get
all
what you
this
can
money
grab.
starts raining, and the more you can get the you know
This
and
is
not make a
exactly
mistake.
what it's like to be a celebrity.
Yes, exactly. Do you know how? Do you even want to know what it's like to be like these guys?
Do you even want to know?
Wait. Magazines told me they were just like me.
No,
This does not happen to me.
No.
Just like us.
They make it rain.
They're just like us.
But so then you hit the buttons accordingly to the money,
my
and if
God.
you make a mistake, I think there was a
I'm so glad you're talking about this game.
I think there was a time. I think you got a time penalty.
Yeah.
But the problem with the game is,
A time penalty meaning you
You're-
lost time?
yeah, a little bit.
Like
For
she's going
when-
to go way faster.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about
like
it,
a reverse penalty.
The thing about it is like
So
all
is the stripper like a
money's-
screensaver in the back, essentially?
Essentially, because what's going on here is that you have
Not
all,
that I wanted more out of
I
that. but-
understand it.
Yeah, you did.
But you think about it, and you're like, ooh, you know, maybe
No, I
something
don't.
happens.
I've been thinking about this entire time. Never once did I go, ooh.
But she does. But that's why I was trying to set that up. Little segue. But she dances around the pole the whole time, and money's getting thrown at her.
Yeah.
So if you can get going,
So are you
she's
stealing this money
covered
from
in
the
money.
stripper?
No, you're
throwing the
making it
money.
rain, man.
Oh,
And
I'm
she
very
just-
confused.
Exactly. I thought maybe I was trying to make it rain. Like I was trying to get money.
Jeremy, your
He's big.
physicality is not coming across
He's
on the
making it
Are
rain.
you
podcast
fucking kidding
at
me?
all.
There's the people in the audience.
it.
Did you not remember we have fans here today?
I hear him clapping.
That was
Thank
it.
you.
So
I was doing my.
I didn't even
Making it
see.
rain.
Like the
That
thing about
was-
it is, you're paying more attention to the bottom of the screen where all the little money is,
And not to the stripper.
and not to the strip or the time or the points. And like it was over, and I was like, oh, okay.
And you're like, best game ever.
You're like, what a waste of money.
So like I'm hitting the buttons, and I'm like, is there like I thought I'm waiting for music to start, and I'm like,
Oh, there's
am I
no
supposed-
music?
Well, I think there's a little bit in the background, but I'm thinking it was a rhythm game.
So it's like a real strip
yeah,
club.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
over
You know.
before you know it, and nothing really happens exciting. Out of it.
Exactly.
You're
Yeah.
like, what just happened?
Yeah, it's really dark.
And where's my money?
But 80
Why
points
am I in an alley?
from 24 Karat Studios.
Do you recommend it?
Make it rain. Try it out.
Try it out.
Try it out.
Oh, my God.
Gross.
All right,
I
let's
just thought it was funny.
let's change it up. I mentioned this on last episode that it was coming, and it has come. Penny Arcade 4.
Yes.
Came out in Z-Boyd Games. I've forgotten to write down how much it was because I just straight out bought it.
I'm sure it was 5, wasn't it?
I think it was 5.
Or maybe 10.
For 400. No, it's not 10.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 400 Microsoft points, I believe. Another great, very deep, in-depth, hilarious RPG in a sort of retro style. You do not need to have played the previous games in order to pick this up.
That's nice of them to do that.
It does inform you a little bit more about why they're at this situation, but really, that's one of the nice things about a comedy game like this is that you can be so immersed in the moment of what's happening, and it's very funny. You don't even have to be a fan of Penny Arcade. It's not really. I mean, it's kind of a similar style of humor, but it's not like full of in jokes like the very first one was, where it was lots of references to the show and all that. This is just kind of taking those characters, taking that style of comedy, and doing ridiculous things. The stuff Z-Boyd Games has been doing since Breath of Death 7.
Right.
It's very different actually because you're not. Well, it's very different, but it's not different. Like Penny Arcade 3, which was also done by Z-Boyd Games, you were controlling the main characters, that including Tycho and Gabe, and it had this job system, which is kind of reminiscent of some of the old Final Fantasies, where you could assign jobs, and jobs would unlock, level up themselves, and you unlock new abilities, and so you could switch jobs around and combine things. I could. What was it? A Dinomancer or something like that. I could, turn myself into a dinosaur, and they had some cool stuff. That stuff's gone this time around, and instead it's almost sort of this Pokemon-esque aspect where now they control like these monsters.
Oh no!
And they can send them out. It's
awesome.
It's basically the same system, but now one really neat thing though is I finally got to the point. I'm not very far into it. It's a very long game. I'm assuming because they all are. I just got to the point where, because you're split up into 2 parties actually, and it keeps going back and forth between them. So I actually have a bunch of monsters, but they don't share the monsters between the 2 groups because they're separated. But I finally got to the point where one of my parties had 5 monsters because you can only have 4 people fighting at the same time, and so you can change out the party and all that stuff. But what's really neat is when you go into the battle, that's an option right there. Like you can change your monsters.
So you don't have to commit.
You don't have to commit
time.
before time, and there's an analyze before you can even begin the battle, so you can take a look at like hit points on anyone, and it gives a funny description of them, and tells you the number of elemental weaknesses they have. They don't tell you exactly which elemental weaknesses they have, but like they give you a number for that.
Right.
So then you can make a switch up.
That's nice.
It was a.
I mean, that sounds really player friendly.
It really was. They got the same timing system that he had in Penny Arcade 3, which has. It's sort of a continuous real-time thing, but you have a time bar, and then there's a point at which you get to decide an action. Then there's a point shortly after that where you can execute an action, and so people with different speeds can outpace other people. So you can use interrupts to stop people from doing their actions or delay them a little bit, so you can continue to beat on people. And a lot of the systems are the same, but there are some slight variations on it. And now, because you have monsters, your characters, who basically the trainers,
right.
They also level up. They also get abilities, and so some of those abilities pass on to like whoever the monster is. So you can kind of vary that up a little bit. So for example, Gabe has some abilities that he imbues, and most of them are focused on physical strength and just straight out attacks. And so it's better to give him the sort of monsters that have a higher physical attack ability. And they unlock a lot of abilities, and some of them are passive. I highly recommend if you play it to once everyone's leveled up, and if you saw somebody got an ability, go into the menu, look at what it does, because some of those are great. And I didn't pay that much attention to them. I'm like, well, they'll just do whatever they do. But some of them are like, if you use defend, then you're going to boost this ability, or something. You'll go faster next turn or something. I'm like, this is awesome, and I wasn't using defend up to that. So it's really good. It's really funny. The graphics. He's done a phenomenal job. I've always liked the way his games look, but this one in particular really is standing out. There's crazy sorts of characters and situations going on. I'm only in like chapter 2 or something like that, and it's I'm loving everything in it, and It's pricier for the indie games, but it is well worth the price.
It's pricier for the indie games, but it's XBLA level.
Yes,
probably.
yeah.
So it's cheap.
Yeah.
If you look at it as like, what you're getting out of
Yeah,
it. So.
it's a far more significant game than some of the ones that actually came out on XBLA the past couple of weeks, in my opinion.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, very, very good stuff.
Cool.
Give it a try. There's always the demo. You'll get to try out a little bit of it. Very funny stuff.
Cool.
Yay.
I played Rasternauts. It was 80 points from mostly fictional. It's a platformer. It's like side-scrolling, and you're a group of scientists, and you create this teleporter. And
You're pixelated, right?
Yeah, it's like
people.
you're about 16-bit full color and great looking. And then
That's your world.
When you go into you get teleported into this other world, and then these like translucent, like glowing guys show up,
Vector guys,
and then you get ported back. And then they're like, well, we need to go back there, but we need to get guns
because only part of them gets ported back, right?
Yeah, like of the
some of them
group,
get left
it's
there.
like out of 10, like 5 get ported back, and those are your scientists, and you get to pick from them, and then you got to get guns. Because I don't remember them really attacking you in the other world. It's like
no, they just came up and looked at you. I played a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they come up and look at you.
Yeah.
And then they just leave.
and they're like, that guy's weird.
But then you get like teleported back, and then you're like, we got to go rescue those guys, and you go back, and you just assume that you have to just kill everybody. I guess.
And then like,
they're all like, "Oh, we're so glad you came back. We're gonna have a feast." We
well,
missed
when
out
you show
on
up, they do shoot you. But,
well, the thing about it is,
but maybe that you started it.
But that's the thing is like right when I get into the world, I just went balls out shooting the guy, and then I'm like, well, wait, these guys might not even shoot at me.
What if?
And then they do actually shoot at you.
You're blowing
You
my
got to
mind
get
now.
pretty close.
But that's because you shot them. What if you start the game and don't shoot them? What if it's like
I might try that.
we made
ultimate
a cake?
ending.
I
We
might
made a
try
cake.
that. But when you go,
A vector cake.
but when you go into
The
this,
game's really just a social experiment.
the
You
very
are a horrible person. That's what
The
happens
end.
at the end.
it's about that's what it says.
Their race is dead. Congrats.
But
You win? Question
Ops.
mark.
Indie game.
you win. But I really like the look of it. It had, there was a little bit of, you get word balloons about the characters. When you go get the gun, you kind of walk by a couple scientists, and they say some funny little things, and it had a nice little style. No,
I had a problem with the controls.
and that's what I was about to get into. I really enjoyed the look of it. I really liked the other world that you poured into. It's got almost like it's got the translucent, neon outlined, almost Tron-esque, Pac-Man, deluxe version. But jumping was a fucking bitch with this game. The timing on it was way off.
Well, you also have to run.
Yep, and if you were close to it, like the edge jumping was just a pain in my butt because it's like you had to jump at a specific time because if you got too close to the very edge, you just
It's
run
awkward
off the
because
end.
run wasn't it the trigger or the bumper button? It was like the right bumper button and then B was jump.
Yeah.
So it was an odd thing to have to run and then hit the B. It was just a weird position for my hand.
Yeah.
Like it would have been better on the A for me. And I think that's how the setup was that I'm remembering. But my big issue was the sliding because the character it was always like you were in an ice level.
A little floaty.
And that's how all the movement was.
back and forth.
And so that was kind of irritating to me because I hate that. It just felt like an ice world the whole time.
Right.
And I don't like those controls at all. So it was way too loose for me. I wanted a lot more tighter, like Mega Man style, where you don't have that. It's you can move at a second.
You're
one step at a time.
Stop on a dime in the air.
Exactly.
I'm done.
That's what I want from my controls in a platformer.
Yeah.
And that's not what this is. It's much floatier. I did like the look, though. I like the look of the music and the mechanics of the shooting. I like being able to stop. With the other bumper button, you were able to stop and shoot and aim in different directions. I think you just had 8-point directions, though.
Yeah.
So it was at diagonals and straight up and down and over. So, or probably 6 points because you couldn't do the ground. But,
No.
But, I was still just... I don't know, that the floaty movement was not so great.
At the very beginning, the controllers just really kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But I'm thinking about maybe trying again a little bit more because I was starting to really get the hang of it after the second playthrough. So
cool. And compared to Make It Rain, it was probably a masterpiece.
Oh, it was beautiful. I like the style of that other world. I just thought that was really neat. It was just a different look. But I thought it was funny how it's just like Let's go get guns.
They're left there. I guess we got to kill everybody.
Let's go get these guys. And that's what I did right when I walked in that level. I was like, beep, 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 beep.
You failed.
Yes.
You're a horrible person.
I have no problem failing killing translucent glob monsters.
You are the glob monster killer. I don't know what that means.
But I'm it.
You confuse the audience.
As always.
Is that it for Indy?
Yeah, that's
we got
it.
any more? All right.
No.
All right, let's move on to XBLA.
Okay.
We had a couple offerings in the last couple of weeks.
Well, yeah, we had 3 dump on us this past week, actually.
And nothing I enjoyed, so who wants to start?
Kick it off with Fireburst.
Speaking of not enjoying, Fireburst.
Fireburst, 800 points from,
Indie Pub,
we
maybe?
believe, Indie Pub with a question mark. Maybe Mongols.
yeah,
I saw Mongols a lot. I don't know what that
Yeah.
is.
It's unclear who's the publisher and who's the developer.
So this is a racing game.
Maybe by the end of this talk, we'll decide why they hide.
So this is a racing
Why
game.
it's a secret.
It's a competitive racing game.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, it takes the whole nitro boost to a different level. Well, as you use your boost, your car begins to set on fire.
Right.
And the heat will rise, and if it rises
Destroy
to the
others.
breaking point, you will
You
blow
explode.
up. You will kill yourself. So throughout the levels, you have different tanks. There's water tanks. Oh, and there is water hazards
puddles, yeah.
without, and those are fun too.
Waterfalls,
Go
yeah.
through those, and then you cool your
cool
car.
Is it unlimited nitrous then?
Well, you blow up.
You blow up. You,
But I
So,
mean-
basically, here's the tutorial.
Yeah.
Like they said, use your Fireburst for 3 seconds. That took me like 10 minutes to do.
yeah.
Like, it took me forever to figure out how to get it right.
But what I'm asking is,
Yeah.
you don't have to pick up nitro.
No.
Like you,
You
have
can-
an
you can always
unlimited
press it,
supply.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
because that's how
But
they
you gotta
balance
blow
it.
up.
Is that you can't use it all the time because it'll overheat
and
and
it takes
kill you.
and it takes a couple seconds to kick in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if you've let it turn off.
Got you.
So
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to
no,
clarify
that's
that.
okay. That's okay.
And so you're racing other cars. I don't know if there's any. I know that the other cars can take you out,
You can take them out.
but and I know you can. I know you can take other cars out. But there's been times where I felt like there wasn't even a car around me, and my guy blew up.
Well, yeah.
And I didn't blow up because I was pressing the button. I was just driving, and then it was like so and so, and it shows like this little like really bad like everybody's stereotype. Like it's really bad. Just no teeth and trucker cap.
Oh, like the hillbilly?
Oh, big time. And so like he took me off the road, and I was like, well, where was he? So I was a little.
Oh, well, because you can run into them. Well, and they're apparently 4 different cars, although it wasn't really clear how
Yeah.
each one worked. The tutorial system, by the way, was kind of weird
I didn't even dive into that
because
one.
it was hard to see because it's like at the end of the modes, like there's a tutorial, and then you have to select each one individually.
Oh.
And like you start that tutorial. And so there are like 4 different cars, and they do different things. But then, in addition to ramming through people, like as you heat up, then you get a circle expanding around you, and when you let go, then it kind of does a burst, and if anyone's in that vicinity, then they explode as well.
Yeah.
But there are also other abilities that the cars have, so maybe one of those
That's what I
abilities
was.
got you.
That's what I was wondering because it just felt a little weird.
What if they went further with the stereotype, and when he was behind you, it was just like ding 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 ding
About.
ding. They could do doodling banjos.
I just wish
for
it
the
would have.
Deliverance
I just
Hillbilly.
wish it would have paused when I hit the jump.
And then after he blows you up, they play the General Lee thing.
Yeah, they were like, I don't know how Sean's gonna get out of this one.
Honestly, I killed myself more trying to blow up any other people
Yeah.
than they killed me. And not just overheating, like
Yeah.
because I would try. I'm like, I'm gonna use this fire burst to get people, and then like I drive off a bridge or something because I was concentrating really hard on that.
I'm a badass.
I went into like there's a destruction mode, and
Yeah, I
that's
didn't try
open.
that out,
and
yeah.
I tried that out, and I didn't. It's still a track, and then
Was
they
it trying to go for like burnout?
It was really. It was like a weird cross between like it reminded me of Super Mario Kart by the tracks because there was a lot of water hazards
Yeah.
or like you
Yeah.
could go off the track, and one's on this oil rig, and that's where you're playing this destruction thing, and
But imagine the only power up you have is the star.
yeah, that's about it. Yeah, but it just I don't know,
And it might make you explode.
Yes.
and
correct.
visually nothing to no.
No, not nothing to know.
Not nothing to know. That is for certain.
It was.
I think we could end it there
Yeah.
if you're good.
Yeah, I wanted to like it more than I did.
So did I. I like
You like racing games.
Yeah. And this one I was like, ooh, fire. And then
If it's a racing
It
game,
was too hard to use that fire ability, I think.
you're lenient on racing games. So
Yeah.
if you're telling me to stay away from it, then I have no interest in it at all.
I'm from
That's-
really lenient.
I know. That's
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
the
come on, he's talking
mode
about it.
I'm
You have
going.
no interest in it anyway.
That's true. What?
What?
You're just reading your lines in front of you.
What's happening? Sean, you're an idiot. That was in my notes.
That was in my notes. reading my notes.
I did try out Thunderwolves from Most Wanted Entertainment, which is also 800 Microsoft points, which is sort of a fun throwback arcade helicopter shooter game. It reminded me a little bit of, now I've forgotten it, the driving game, where you had the 4 different characters and you could drive little cars, and there was a twin stick shooter. You got it too. It was totally
Scrap metal.
No, it was totally over the top.
Fireburst.
But remember they went into like the foreign country and like they're blasting things, and it was destructible
Yeah, that's what it
environment.
made me think of too.
Yeah, it's kind of
Fireburst.
It's not Fireburst.
No,
I'm not
I know
even
I know
listening
the
to
game
you.
you're talking about, but that's that one. I didn't play it. You guys both
Yes.
played it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
I can't think of the name. It's killing me.
It reminded me of that.
so
too.
you can fill in your bingo square where we can't remember the name of a game
Yes.
that we want to reference.
us.
And
Anybody in the audience know? Anybody in the crowd?
I
No, nothing. Crickets over there.
I thought I liked it a lot. I mean, it is ridiculously over the top.
Yeah.
And it's like set in like the 90s and the 80s. At least the demo part was.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's free through the air, helicopter controlling, but I didn't find that completely overwhelming. Like some of those,
Yeah, it was pretty
it's not like
restricted.
jet flying or
Okay.
anything
Yeah.
like that.
And to be honest, that's why I didn't even try the game out. Because
Yeah.
when helicopter games come out, usually that's what
It's
happens.
pretty tight. It's very arcadey in the way that it's not.
See,
Yeah, it's not one of those things. It's not like flying a helicopter in Grand Theft Auto 4.
You
or
have to worry
something
about
like that.
pitch
Yeah,
and
where you
all
have to
that
worry
other
about
shit.
all that. It's basically separate controls for going higher and lower, and otherwise you're just kind of strafing,
Good.
and rotating
Yeah.
and stuff. It's very arcadey.
Renegades.
Renegades, that's it.
Fireburst?
And then Renegades Fireburst. Fire Renegade Bursts.
I like Starburst.
And apparently you can unlock different helicopters, and I don't know if there's customization involved or not.
I don't know either. I don't think so. I think it's just
Yeah.
other helicopters you can use.
But it's meant to be over the top actiony,
is.
like, and you see the little pictures of the people, and they're all like ridiculously exaggerated and stuff.
Yeah.
Like all the ladies, of course, have like cleavage showing, and
you remind me of all
The-
the
the dudes
headshots
are
of
all-
like Metal Gear, like
Yeah.
the old NES Metal Gears,
Yeah.
and like any of those other games where you would have just everybody talking.
yeah,
Time.
it's totally action movied out.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, really destructible environments, like even knocking down trees in the forest and stuff as you're flying around
Cool.
shooting stuff. I found it to be pretty fun. Was it like super compelling? No, it was maybe a little on the flat side for me.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything that really popped out at me, not like Renegades, where Renegades was like really action packed, and so I really got into this.
And it seemed tighter.
It did seem tight. Yeah,
This
Renegades
doesn't
seem
seem-
tighter than.
yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's not bad in any way, but in my opinion, but
I was also noting a lot of stuttering when I was playing. I don't know
did
if you
you?
had that. Yeah,
I did not have that.
Like, but see, I'm worried about my Xbox.
Yeah,
so,
that may be your Xbox.
So you know, it, just every once in a while, like when I would have something explode,
Yeah.
like it would be just a second where it kind of like freeze
I
for
don't
a second,
think-
like a half second.
did it say loading or something
no,
like that? No.
no, it was just like a stutter.
Oh, okay.
You know, it would happen every once in a
No,
while.
I'm not sure I really had that happen.
Okay, good.
But
Maybe you're having small strokes.
I might. It might be me.
it does have
I'm stroking out.
it does have co-op. Well,
No.
that's
Anyway.
there it is. It does have co-op, but it's local only.
Yeah.
So and
Oh,
there-
is it? I thought it was online.
No, it's local only. Yeah, because
Okay.
Lunchbox and I were talking about it a little bit. And,
Okay.
and he mentioned co-op, and I'm like, oh, it's got co-op, and that was actually a big kind of a plus in its favor.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there was that other game that I can't remember where you're walking around in the mech things and shooting stuff. Anyway,
That was a good game.
Yeah, right?
I know exactly
Yeah.
what you're talking about. I haven't
picked up the gears,
yeah, Gatling Gears.
Gatling gears. That's it.
Hey,
Oh yeah, I should finish that.
I'm on a roll.
I bought it.
You had tuned out. Oh, finish the game.
Yeah.
I thought you meant finished our idea.
No. No. I should finish that Gatling
You
Gears
should.
game. It's
So
awesome.
should I.
Oh my god, I hate you guys.
I know. I hate myself. It's
too.
a beautiful game.
Hey, let's play
why
together.
Was I talking
and finish
about
it.
Gatling gears? Oh, because that was going to be a plus. Well, Renegades is co-op too.
Yeah.
And there are actually a couple achievements for the co-op play on Thunderwolves, but it's only local.
Yeah,
and,
that's
you know,
rough.
yeah, I mean,
It's kind of a bummer.
I appreciate local co-op, but it's not necessarily something everyone can play. But I thought it was kind of fun. I haven't purchased it. It's one of those things where if it goes on sale, that's actually going to be a big plus.
Like
for me.
$5.
Yeah, or even like $7. I think. You know,
$7.50.
it might be a little bit of an incentive over like the other games that are exactly the same price.
Right.
Sure.
You know, why is there not better dynamic pricing? That's what I want from an E3 to announce, is that we're not going to fucking all just do the exact same pricing. We're gonna
Spread it out.
We're gonna compete.
It's gonna actually.
We're gonna be competitive,
and we're gonna set our pricing to what we feel the value is,
Yes.
not just an automatic 5, 10, 15,
Yeah.
20.
Yes. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because that's all over Steam, right? Where like games are $13, $12.99, $14.99, $17.99.
That's the way to do it.
Should I name all the different 99?
You should.
$4.99.
Keep going.
Like a $14.99, and it's like there's some that are probably like $18.99. Have you seen? I've seen
We
some
are
on there $19.99.
Professionals.
Wait. $8.99.
$8.99. That's one of them I saw.
I liked it. It may be, you know, it's perhaps maybe one of those games when games start dwindling for the Xbox 360 and I'm still playing it.
Yeah.
I might
Yeah.
be like, well, maybe now I'll pick this up as something new to try to play.
Cool.
I'll have to check it out even now. I know
think
the
you
controls.
should.
Yeah, now that I know the controls are the way they are.
I think
Yeah.
you'll be fine with them.
Sweet.
Did anybody else take a look at the Dungeons and Dragons game?
I did.
Dungeons and Dragons Chronicles of
Mystara.
Mystara.
It's another one of Capcom's
Mystara?
slam togethers of arcade titles. Arcade titles I had no idea ever existed.
I wish I
remember in the
seen this
arcade,
one.
but I didn't play it very much.
I don't remember seeing this one.
Really, the old D&D arcade game?
Maybe I was.
I
thinking it
went
was
to a lot of
Golden
arcades,
Axe.
though. I was a dork.
Maybe I thought it was Golden Axe all the time.
Maybe you did. I didn't play it very much because it's one
Yeah.
of those that, you know, it just seemed like it carried on. Like it was built
Yeah.
to like can make you spend more
Yeah,
and
a
more
lot of
money.
money,
So, like
yeah.
you could carry on your character
Right.
because at that moment you didn't want to come back and
Because
do
you
it.
level up and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it combines the Tower of Doom and Shadow over Mystara. Why can't I say that
Mystara.
name? Mystara.
Mr.
I can't say it.
Mr. A.
Mr. A. Can I say that?
You just did.
Awesome. So I played a little bit.
Me too.
I was quickly out of it because I was like,
too.
I feel that if you don't have the nostalgia for it, it's going to be kind of played out. I mean, it's like I feel that way
Yeah.
with a lot of those old arcade games,
Well,
like the
yeah,
X-Men
yeah.
game
Yeah.
and everything else.
Yeah.
TMNT.
And they continued their trend, like I talked about with the Darkstalkers game, where
Yeah.
there are little challenges for you to kind of keep up with. But
I like those popping up.
yeah, I liked more on Darkstalkers because Darkstalkers is it's a fighting game, so it's a very straightforward sort of action and what you're supposed to be doing. I was so busy trying to figure out, like, I have like an inventory. What the hell am I doing
know.
with my inventory?
And
Or
they didn't. And was there like an instruction area that you could
there-
go into?
there probably wasn't the menus.
Yeah,
but
I didn't go look at it, and I was
it
like,
didn't-
I
it
was
didn't
assuming they were going
encourage
to do
you
a
to do it.
tutorial kind of thing,
Yeah.
and they just throw you in, and I'm like, I don't know what my buttons do. I just
Yeah.
threw a dagger.
They could even put it on the sides there. Yeah, I know.
There's shit everywhere on that screen.
Yeah,
There's a lot of info going on.
There
and then room not taken up because
Yeah.
they have the side panels.
I think that if you had, it's a one that we talked about with the co-op. I think if you had a couple people and you guys were playing through,
This
I think
one
it'd
is
be
definitely
fun.
much better would be much better with co-op. I think.
Yeah, and it's 800 points. I just wish.
No, 1,200.
Oh,
Yeah,
was
it's
it
1200.
Oh, oof, never mind.
Because it's 2 games.
Yeah, I know. But I was going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say
No,
if it was less than 800.
How many?
It was impressive,
How
but
many
you know,
characters were there?
4. Well, it depends which one you're playing. I think the first game only had 4, but the
4.
second one had like 6 or 8.
Okay.
Yeah, different.
Yeah, because there was like I think there
They
was a male,
expanded it.
female elf, and then like a female warrior and a male warrior. But I think
Yeah, but I
only
think
a male dwarf
Well,
and a
The
thief,
race-
cleric.
yeah,
a thief and a cleric.
yeah,
too.
they're all jobs. Is really what it was. So
I am
it,
job.
It wasn't like you got a gender choice.
Yeah.
Depending on the job, it was just whatever was assigned
Right.
to that job.
So I don't know. It didn't do much for me, but I know there's
No.
probably people with the nostalgia factor there, or that are
Yeah.
into those old D&D games.
I had
that-
never heard of it. I thought it was like a brand new game or something. Then I opened it up like, oh, it's one of these.
Oh, it's
This
old.
was a game?
Ugh.
It's like I wanted to kick the goblin to get the little things, but he never showed up. And I was like, wrong game. Because those little guys look like it. And I'm like kicking them, and I'm like, won't things pop up now?
So let me bring that big bird thing I can ride.
It's
I'm sure there's things
Altered
there you
Beast.
can ride in there.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Sure, I don't remember that.
Probably.
1 to 4 people co-op.
Storms is the only other thing I have to talk about.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Storm.
And Storm, I
Also from Indie Pub.
said at the
potentially.
beginning that I said at the beginning
In
that I was
some
kind of
respects.
unimpressed with the XBLA offerings the last couple of weeks, and this continues that for me.
Yeah.
It's a game that looked interesting to me, and then I checked out the demo, and it just didn't do much.
To be perfectly frank, I got bored playing the demo.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's fair.
okay, I'm done.
Right. So it's a puzzle game
It is.
where you control the elements,
Yes.
Yes.
To-
the elements, tornado and
wind,
Tornado,
lightning.
lightning.
lightning,
Is that all there is?
wind.
I think there's probably more.
I think
Probably.
there's
I gave
probably
up
more.
at that point.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Once I got to
it
tornado
could not
controls.
hold. Yeah, I had the same
Oh.
problem. Okay, so you're basically playing through a level where you have to move a seed off of a tree
To fertile ground.
to a noob area.
There's no euphemism there.
Right. No, it's a boning game.
It's a bone in game.
And then the tree grows.
It does.
And it produces more seeds.
Right,
And
and then you
these-
move to another spot.
Which opens even more elemental.
So you have to move. You move your
Options.
cursor around the screen, and then you hit the A button. Well, it's different buttons for different options. So the A button is
Yeah.
that wind, and then I think it's the Y button for the lightning strike later on.
Yeah.
But you basically are moving that seed along through that area,
Trying
and
to avoid obstacles.
and trying
It's mostly
to get it-
making it jump. I mean,
Right, and
can,
it's trying
can
to
we
get
be
it-
frank about it? You're just making it jump over holes.
And I got in some areas. It's some areas where you had to go up like a hill,
Yeah.
and it really stopped being fun. Like not that it really started being fun too much, but it was like it really hit a wall.
It became more like some games that are like this that are kind of like a brain teaser for me, and
Yeah.
it makes you kind of
Yeah.
think things out. This one just became more of a tedious thing.
Yeah.
Because like
Because there's
I
nothing to
would agree.
figure out.
that tornado control was ridiculous because the way that they have it prompted, and you can always go to, and that's the one thing I think your back button or the back button had a nice like it showed all your tutorials, like
Yeah, it did
anything that it
I
was
didn't
said.
know that.
the hint thing.
It was
or
always
whatever,
there, which I always like about in games like that because then
You can just quick check.
quick
Yeah.
quick check to see what the last combo was about.
But yeah, I didn't understand what they were even. I had to fucking try it like 3 times because I didn't understand what they were even telling me to do with that because it doesn't do anything. You hit the A button to do the wind, and then you have to rotate the
To the left, the left
joystick.
joystick.
The joystick.
Around in the circle to make a
Yeah.
whirlwind.
right,
Yeah.
and then you let go, and then it shows up.
Yep.
So
Yes,
I couldn't
yeah.
understand what was going on.
Yeah.
And then you use the triggers to move the tornado.
Yeah.
And then once the tornado picks up, it's a limited time use, so it's just it lasts for just a short period of time. And then like you pick up the seed, and then you can
hurl it.
shoot the seed out of
But
the
you have
tornado.
to be. You generally need to be moving because when the tornado's moving, it's leaning, and
Yep.
so then that's how you angle things.
And you could change the force of the tornado. You can make
What?
them yes.
I didn't know
So
that either.
Sean knows something we didn't know.
hey,
He read. He went back on that back.
someone just
You read
fucking won bingo.
instructions?
That one was like the hugest
like lottery.
Like they just sat there like that block has never been touched.
Somebody just it was full blackout.
Yeah, it's just
This is one blackout bingo.
But so you can as you open more, like if you set more trees up, sometimes it opens to give you more shots at because your elements have to refill.
Yeah. You have limited amount.
Yeah.
Limited usage.
So then, like for the tornado one, is you had like 3 up top, so
Yeah.
you could do 3, or you could hold it and keep rotating until those little 3 dots showed up in the cloud.
Oh.
Inside this little cloud.
Yeah, that you can hardly see.
Yeah, and then that would make the tornado bigger, so then you could expel the seed a little bit further.
I mean, what they went
But
for
it's
here,
just fucking
you know,
tedious.
what they went for is a very relaxed puzzle.
It was
game. It's
very-
not meant
Right.
to be. You're not meant to seamlessly stream these things together. You know, there are a few moments where it's like the seeds rolling down. Oh, you better hurry up and shoot that lightning blast.
Yeah.
But even there, they generally give you a fair amount of time. It's it's
set the grass
meant
on
to be
fire, though.
relaxed, and I think that that just didn't connect with me.
Right, because we talked about it a little beforehand too, and on the PS3 side, I likened it immediately. It's definitely not as graphically an achievement as it, but Flower is immediately what it made me think of on the PS3 side.
Interesting.
And I think it's just because of the element thing. You're using like wind to blow
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
things around. And that's a relaxing game. And that's a beautiful game. And so when I'm playing this, I'm like, why would I even bother playing this? I'll just go play that other thing.
Yeah.
That's actually well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't having fun with it.
Yeah.
Like I just kind of got to the point where when I finished the trial, I just was just like, yeah.
Meh.
I was really in, like it pulled me in, but then it just I just thought I liked
You
the
like the
look.
puzzle
I like
aspect.
the look of it, other than the fact that I didn't understand like the. You had to get the seed to drop. That was the first thing. But you're this little sprite, and I'm like flying all over the place.
You
and
thought you could just bump it?
I was like, can I find
Bump
Tom
it.
Cruise or something? But I don't know.
Find Tom Cruise.
But and
Oh
then
my god, you just do a legend reference.
you know it. You know it.
That was for the youngins out there who don't get half of Sean's references.
You gotta like legend.
you need editor's notes on the bottom of
True.
You need to annotate our entire
Annotations, yes.
all of our episodes.
Someone work on that. Send out a complimentary podcast that you play over top of this.
the annotated signed in.
That would be
Also,
awesome.
if we did show titles off of things that we said in the show, this show title would be "Expel the Seed Further." That would be what I would call this show.
Very nice.
Make it rain.
Make it rain
Make it rain
and expel the
seeds.
seed further.
So not the best.
Not the best.
Couple weeks on the Xbox.
Oh well.
Yeah, it was a
What are
little
you gonna
rough.
do?
Yeah.
Demo wise,
there was a demo.
There were two demos actually. I didn't play the sports one, but
I downloaded it.
did you have something else you wanted to throw in, or are you just
No,
really excited
I'm
about me
excited.
talking about
I can't
this?
wait.
About
I
Painkiller.
tried out Painkiller, Hell and Damnation from the Farm 51, which I believe
It's out now.
is it out now?
Yeah, because it even says at the end of
on
the demo.
PCs it is. I
Oh.
know, but
I think
Says,
it's
play it now.
I think it's coming out. I think we looked it up, and it's coming out next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
or the week
This
after.
week, yeah.
Maybe you got delayed.
Something.
Maybe you got delayed to add more graphics.
By the end of this, you're not going to have to worry about it. But it's coming out in a couple.
if
of
I
weeks.
remember correctly,
spoiler.
I don't know if this is the update of an old PC game or if this is a sequel to the update.
I think it's
Or
a sequel.
to the game. Yeah, it's a sequel to something.
Something.
Because it seems to have
Probably
to have
Painkiller.
backstory. Yeah, and basically you're this dude whose name I've forgotten because he's completely forgettable.
Jeff.
How do
Holy fuck!
You remember it?
Is it? No. It,
I just said.
Oh, you
Jeff.
just-
we just
Oh.
both just said Jeff.
That's just guys. You guys hang out too much.
That
together.
is amazing.
That's your favorite name.
I'm stopping the show. No, I'm not really.
Oh, okay.
That was
Go
amazing,
on.
though.
Thanks.
I don't know what to do.
Okay.
How about you listen to me talk about this game?
Yes.
What about Jeff?
This
Tell
is
us about
the
him.
dude who crashed his car with the love of his life in there, and he's stuck in limbo,
He's
and
a bad
she's
guy, though.
somewhere else. And apparently, in a previous game, he fought the Hell Lords, and now death
And the angels too.
and the angels, and now death has come to him and said, "You know what? I'm feeling kind of lazy." So why don't you do my job for me for a while? Collect 7,000 souls, and I'll let you join up with the love of your life. Here's a gun. Well, I'm not going to explain what the fuck it is, because all our guns are extraordinarily overly elaborate and don't look like functioning weapons at all. Because they're all hell guns. I mean, you don't have to reload or anything like that. You just have ammo that continually draws from the ammo. I mean, it's a classic sort of first-person shooter, and that's what it is. It's a first-person shooter. But unfortunately, it carries over with it, in my opinion, some of the lesser parts of the old school first person.
Yes.
At least demo wise, we saw some videos of maybe further gameplay. And there's like giant bosses and stuff like that. No real suggestion of that in the demo.
No.
Maybe it's
The
only
demo
one boss.
is-
There's one big giant thing you fight towards the end.
Oh, I must have given up because
Yeah.
you have to go.
I would've gave up,
you're in
but I kept
you're in a
playing.
graveyard. You know, I kept trying to play through, and I'm like, really, this is still going
The
on?
graveyard?
Yeah, you're playing through this graveyard.
Backtrack.
It's you have a room basically. Then they're gonna send waves of enemies at you. You kill them. Then it says, "Hey, go to this room now." And then it kind of seals you in there and sends waves of enemies at you. Then it says, why don't you go back to the other room? I refilled it. So then you go back in there and you just shoot them,
You're in the
shoot them,
graveyard, and
shoot them.
I was like, I walked into that area, and then the door thing closes behind me, and I'm
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, this is a graveyard, and the fence it was like, yeah. And then I went back in it. Well, oh yeah,
It's
wow.
It was very extraordinarily repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were different kinds of enemies, but it was basically shoot this one a couple more times.
Yes. or like switch your guns up. The one thing I did like, because you could almost shoot on the fly, all like in the
What do you mean shoot on the fly?
like you could hit your X, B, and Y at times and do the special weapons, or like you would switch to another gun. Like I'd be using that one with the weird skull and it would shoot blades, and then I'd hit Y and I would shoot my shotgun.
Oh, so you could switch between your weapons?
So you couldn't, but you'd go right back to it. It didn't mean like you didn't have to physically shoot to it. You would shoot.
I did not
with,
get this out of the demo.
Yeah, which I thought was really odd about it, because then I could use the shotgun with Y, but I'd have that weird skull blade thing.
So it wouldn't even change your gun?
The gun would change when it shot, but then wouldn't change back.
Oh, okay.
It'd be like,
So it was a one-time shot,
yeah,
one-time use.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I did not.
Which was
Kinda
cool
Does that
about
change
it.
everything?
Oh, yeah. Game of the year.
And then there's like a Ghostbusters gun that sucks the soul out of them,
Yes.
and you could almost you can mind control them, but I don't know how you could do that.
It didn't explain those guns very well.
Yeah.
Can't
at all.
explain anything.
Like
No.
I would shoot him with the thing, and then they would turn green and start killing everybody, and then blow up.
Yeah.
And I was like, that I want to do that every level.
But you didn't know how to do it.
So then I tried the
You know,
next level, and it wouldn't work.
Most of my experience with the game was like, what's going on?
Exactly.
Like, there is a point where, like, all of a sudden the screen would get dark, and I'm like, am I dying or something? What's going on? No, apparently there are these witch things that are wandering around
Yeah.
kind of casting a spell on you. And then when you kill them, like, crows fly up or something. Totally didn't see it. I saw these crows fall, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool little environmental thing. No, it's just a death animation.
Yeah.
That I didn't realize before. And, you know, it's like... well, and you pick up the souls because
I was just saying, you have to collect souls, right?
your
Yeah.
job is to collect
7,000 of
7,000
them.
souls, and if you get 66 souls, you turn into like demon form.
Yeah.
Which is pretty. Did you find that boring?
I found it very boring, and just like I
It's
want
the dullest demon form ever.
What I hated about it was that when they showed in the trial for it, like
Yeah.
in the tutorial, it works because you got a massive like enemies coming at you.
Yeah.
Villains.
We're back to that.
But then, like when you're playing regular
Villains.
gameplay proper,
Yeah,
you hit that mode,
and then you're
there's-
like hunting around
and then
for
there's
somebody.
4 of them.
You know why? You know why this
You
is?
can shoot them from across the room, and then
Yeah.
it's done.
Yeah, and you know why this is because this is where I was going with the souls thing, because you know, you kill them, they drop souls, you collect the souls. However, it's not you kill them and then they drop the soul. You kill them,
You gotta
they
wait.
fall, and you have to wait 2 seconds before their body explodes. Meanwhile, you're fighting other dudes, and so, you know,
Then you can lose that soul.
you lose that soul because it vanishes after a little while. And the other thing is that, you know, the time you pick up the souls, it's usually after you've finished killing everybody.
Yeah.
So then you turn into a demon form, and you're like, well, I better run off to a new room so I can use this shit before it wears off.
Awesome.
It sounds great.
I know, right?
And
It
then
was so repetitive, and I don't know if the rest. You know, we saw some bigger open areas, and I think those might be a little more fun than the tight little. Because I kept getting stuck on tombstones
well, no, I agree.
and getting surrounded by
Well,
people.
and you would hear them
Not fun.
appear,
Yeah,
and they'd be hitting you. So then you would turn, and they're right behind
Yeah.
you. So they appeared in that corner behind you,
Yeah.
where I would find a corner in like wherever room.
there's no smart
And
spawning.
no, there isn't.
it was stock spawning.
And there's no smart spawning for them because they'll appear in one spot and there'll be a wave. So you just sit your gun at that, little
Yeah.
little
Oh, yeah.
nightcrawler bamf.
Yeah.
It's like, and you just like boom, 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 boom. So then you get out of this like I went out into this city area,
Yeah.
and then they
I
show
didn't get
all
there. I
yeah.
gave up.
They go to this cutscene, right? So there's like all this witch is walking her garbage out. This zombies
all
zombies
video
at the
of this.
ATM.
Somebody's drinking.
And it's really good animation.
Yeah.
It's like skull guys drinking. So like I'm thinking throughout the whole game you're running into all these like skulls and demons and witches.
Yeah.
Then you run into the big leather bound ball gag guy, and you're like, wait, what is this guy all about? And he's like,
Oh, I think you know what that guy's all
I
about.
know what he's all about, but I mean, I ran into one giant,
think
like,
you know.
huge thing.
Yeah.
I never felt like ever I was gonna die in that game. I never once
I
felt
did
like,
actually die.
Oh, you did?
Mostly I blew myself up with those barrels. Because I'd be running around, and then I run past a barrel, and if you shoot it, it explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was really good.
And there's like these cards that you can pick up with little
Yeah, the
add
tarot
bonuses,
cards.
which was
Then
neat because it's
you pick them up, then you have to purchase them or something?
You use points to purchase them, and then you add them to
It's
your
very confusing.
your deck.
Yeah.
And then you like use them at the same time. So
And then
I
you go play
slowed
Yu-Gi-Oh.
I slowed speed down. But that was like the other Like the one cool thing I liked about it was when you slowed it down, the music slowed down.
Yeah.
But the music track is shit.
It's the same. I was like, you better like this song.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So
I'm sure it's different on different levels, but oh my god,
I don't know.
You might have more faith in it than it deserves.
Repetitive, just on that one level.
But
No, it's enough. I don't care, even if they do have stuff on different stuff.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if they do. You might be giving more credit.
it was fun.
So you guys don't recommend that either. It's not a good Xbox week for us.
I'm telling you, it was a horrible. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
it
sure.
was
I'm
pretty
sure.
we
Microsoft
run them down
don't-
at the beginning about E3.
Microsoft
we shit all
only
over their
has
games.
Some control, I'm sure. Over
Here's what I'm taking out of
what
this show:
releases.
Penny Arcade 4
Yes, play the hell out of Penny Arcade 4.
is the
please
brightest
do.
star you could find
That
in the
is-
last 2 weeks.
It's a really good game, anyway.
There you go.
Like even on a good couple game weeks, I would still be.
but now it's like the
about it.
king
Yes, best $5 you could spend.
ever.
Yes,
Do you guys have any more
while
on
you're waiting for
Damnation? or is
July
that it?
1st to come around. So you
No,
can
that's
download
it from me
All right.
on that game.
You guys good?
Oh yeah.
I'm going to talk a little bit about Last of Us then,
okay.
which is a
Little bit.
PS3 game.
Yeah, because no disc games came out for the Xbox.
That is
in the past
correct,
2 weeks.
which
Zero.
is crazy. Which is good, though, because I spent a lot of time playing Last of Us and Animal Crossing. Can I tell you, in a week and a half, I spent 15 hours.
That's a good combination of games, though, by the way.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. I think I was talking about it all over the place, but I'm like, I'm playing a PS3 game and my 3DS that I'm carrying around in my PSP case. So this will be an awesome 360 show next week. Like, it's going to be great. I spent 15 hours. It took me 15 hours to get through Last of Us, and I think I'm up to 40 hours of Animal Crossing
Oof.
in a week and a half. So there's where all my gameplay went.
Yeah.
So Last of Us, Naughty Dog's new game, which from our Uncharted, which I love all the Uncharted
Yeah.
games for the most part. I was never a big fan of like some of the running and gunning around in the game. Some of those got a little clunky.
I've heard that
but
before.
you know, they're always at the highest level of production. The animations, the layouts, any of the graphical interaction stuff in the game.
Graphicalities.
The graphicalities, the
Graphicalations.
graphicalations,
Graphicalizations.
graphicalizations.
Yes.
They have more graphics than most games. more and better graphics.
They should
more
charge
better
per
graphics.
graphic.
They should charge. That should be the scale they use.
All those 8-bit games.
The voice acting, I mean, that stuff is movie level. The stuff that they do with motion capture and voice acting. The motion capture has always astounded me from the stuff they do with Uncharted. It continues on to this game. The minutia that they capture on people, like with the movements and just the way that they move and the way they interact, is insane. Like it's always crazy to me. Half the time I watch those cutscenes and I forget that it's a game. You know, things still look animated, but it looks animated in a style like a Pixar movie does.
Sure.
Where there's still a realness that looks, they just capture it and it's amazing. If you listen to the show, you know that I kind of go into blind mode when I want a game. I know that I'm going to want this game. I know I'm going to play this game.
Yeah.
So I basically do a blackout. I do like a media blackout. I don't really know I barely look into what the game is about. So I'm going to be completely honest with you. I had no idea what this game style was. Like, I knew that I was going to want to play it and I was looking forward to it, but I kept it on the periphery and I didn't really get too in depth in it. So when I played it, I had no idea what to expect, and I was immediately taken back. And it might not have been a good move because I kind of didn't enjoy it at the beginning.
Oh, really?
Because I had no idea. It's a survival horror game, and I had no idea that that's what it was. I'm expecting like this run around kind of Uncharted like game and an action adventure, and it's really a stealthy survival game. And I've learned to love it, but at the beginning it was really off-putting because I was going in blind, and I'm stupid because but it's my own problem. I try to separate myself as much as possible so I know as little as possible when I go in. So I kind of on some points pay for that when I finally experience it, and it's not what I was looking forward to. But the production design is amazing. The gameplay was a lot of fun. It took a little bit to get used to because it is heavy on the stealth. There is a sneaking around mode that you can use that you kind of like you listen for things. So he kind of goes into a crouch. Joel, the main character that you're playing. The setup of the game is this infection zombie style. They're not zombies though. It's like this. It's even worse. It's this fungal infection. So everybody's kind of got like this there's
STD the game.
Well, they've got these like mushroom heads where they're like got fungus growing out of their faces and stuff. It's really gross and then you
Maybe
have
like the deep sea guys from Pirates, but made of fungus.
Yes, that's exactly what they are.
Vomit all over the
and
place.
so there's those guys running around. There's really only a couple different enemy types. There's these runners that run around, and then there's these clickers
Who click around.
that make clicking noises, but are blind because they've got like basically shrooms all over their head and like this fungus stuff. So they're blind, but they listen. So you have to like sneak around and they're
So you have to sneak up on them with a pan and butter.
no, and then fry them up, saute them. This is going to be awesome. I wouldn't eat them. And then there's these like big fat guys, which I can't remember what their names are.
Boomers.
Bloated.
Boomers.
I think they're bloaters.
Boomers.
And they pick off like their fucking mushroom things and throw them at you, and like these spore explosion things happen, which are gross. So the main premise of the story is this infection has happened. And the story kind of it takes place in 2000.
Wait, is this athlete's foot?
2000. It might have started there.
Yeah.
They don't give an ass. They don't really
Is
give
there
you
product placement for Tough Act International?
I will say what I like.
Patient Zero
What I
is
like
not
about the
there.
game is that it's not focused on what caused this.
Yeah, sure.
And
That's
like
nice.
it's very Walking Dead in this way.
Cool.
And there's a lot of correlation for me. Reading the Walking Dead comics and knowing that stuff. There's a lot of correlation with some of the things that happen in the game. Maybe a little too close in some of the instances, but it didn't make it unenjoyable. It just made it a very easy correlation. But it's not focused on what happens and what causes this infection. It's the fact that it's 2033, it's been this way for 20 years, and now people are surviving, and here's what you're doing to survive. And so as you're playing the game, your main character, Joel, you're tasked with basically transporting this teenager, Ellie, to this other location. So the game is the adventure of those two working together with other people here and there, traversing through the area and getting to this certain location that you have to get to. It's very heavy on the stealth. It's really well done. Where you go into areas and you, like I said, you can use that sneak mode, and it kind of makes everything. It's basically Batman's detective mode, where everything kind of goes black. And you see highlights of people that you can hear. So at least they put that aspect into it, that you're hearing noises, and like when they're talking, it kind of like radiates some like signals around their head. And you can increase that distance later by power ups. Upping your abilities like through these pills that you collect. So it's really a survival.
Better living through chemistry.
Well, it's funny because you eventually end up at this university that you go through that's abandoned, and that place had tons of pills, and that I can't think it was a coincidence. And so you go through these dorm rooms, and it's just pills everywhere that you're finding. But the game is really, I say survival horror, but it's more survival. It's more a survival game, and it made me feel like a Walking Dead game where it's all about scavenging for supplies and using those supplies in a way that like you would with Far Cry 3, where you would get those hides from things and use those to create other things. It's really focused on that, where it's limited in the kinds of things that you can find, but those things are all things that you use to put together. So you'd like put together shivs with scissors and tape. So there's like scissors and tape and rags and alcohol and things like that. And so those 8 different things all get used to make these different items that you can use. Cool. Smoke bombs and nail bombs that go off. And that's all done on the fly. None of that, it's all in real time that you do that creation. So if you're in the middle, it just creates some awesome elements when you're in the middle of like, you can pick up bottles and bricks and throw it to kind of like distract people, because while you have those infected from time to time, your other main opponent is actual people. Other, factions of people that are, either looking for you or you're trying to get through. And so you're kind of directing and misleading them and wanting to do a lot of stealth attacks. You can run in guns blazing, but you're limited on your ammo. And so you get really resourceful. And so that, once I kind of keyed into that element, it became a lot more fun for me.
Cool.
And where I would kind of just like, okay, there's 2 guys in this room, I'm going to fucking bum rush them because I only got like 3 bullets left in my shotgun. And the way that they have the close combat fighting, you can bum rush people. And the close combat fighting is awesome.
Nice.
And you just go up and kind of spam your button and the animation stuff they do for that stuff is awesome. It's a lot of environmental, so if you're by a wall, you can like slam their head into a wall. It's you also, with your partners, which they kind of annoyed me sometimes, they do a little caveat in the gameplay where they sacrifice realism for gameplay, which kind of bothered me, but then it didn't. And that's that nobody else really notices anybody that's with you. they really only pay attention to you as far as you making noise or seeing you. So they'll come around a corner, and if you're hiding behind something, but somebody else is like in plain view, they won't see that person. Now it's good because sometimes the AI is retarded.
You want more difficult escort missions, is what you're telling
Exactly.
me.
Yeah.
So there's a caveat to that where I'm like complaining about it. I'm like, why can nobody see her at all?
It ruins your immersion.
And then I'm like, well, I'm glad they can't see her because she's a fucking idiot and standing right there in the middle of everything, and everything would be ruined right now.
Yeah.
So like, I can come around and I can grab him and like choke him out.
Yeah.
But you know, they do those elements where they also help out. So you'll have people that have guns sometimes, and they will shoot and help get people off of you, or like come out of nowhere. I've had people before. My best experience is when I'm getting attacked by a guy, like he gets on you and grabs you, and you have to spam your square button to get him off of you. And Ellie will like jump on him and like just stab the fuck out of him with like this knife that she has, and it's hilarious. I mean, it's not supposed to be hilarious. It's a pretty dark game.
Yeah.
It's super dark. But it's funny when it happens because I forget that she's there sometimes.
Right.
And so I feel like I'm doing all this on my own, and then so just to have that, and I'm getting spammed, and all of a sudden she and like jumps on him and like stabbing him, and I'm done, and I'm like, that is great. It happened like 2 or 3 times, and it was a great experience every time. So the story is fantastic. The progression is great. The character growth is amazing. And it's a really, really dark story. It's not happy. It's not a
It's
happy...
like Painkiller.
It's not a happy... No, in a different way.
What?
It's a very emotional story. It's unhappy in an unsuspected way, if that makes any sense. Like, it's one of those things where I feel like I know what's going to happen because of all the other genre type things that you know the progression, and you know that it's a dark story. So you're eventually going to get to some point where this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And they kind of turn that on its head. They change gameplay around a little bit. It ends much different than I had assumed it was going to end. Still not happy, but it's still, you know, it was definitely different, and that was very exciting for me. So I had a lot of fun with it. When I hit those walls, though, it was a bad wall. Like when I was trying to get into it and like getting around in those stealthy areas and attacking people, and it's bad when you would like creep through and take down 4 of the 5 guys and then get to the last guy, and then he takes you out, and you got to do it 5 times in a row. And I'm like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
And then I come back and do it the next time, first time off, because you change up your strategy.
Yeah.
And once I kind of opened up to that of there's not one set path you have to follow.
Yeah.
There's kind of these open areas, and you can kind of take it slower. It works a lot better.
Cool.
And those clickers, I mentioned those guys, the ones that can't see you but they hear you.
Yeah.
They're one-hit kills. They kill you in one hit. If they grab you, they kill you. You have to have these shivs that you can use as a defense to kill them or sneak up on them and kill them. But if you don't have any of those shivs, you can't kill them. So that's another thing with the survival aspect of either getting around them or making sure you have your stuff to like build that and get around them that way. Take them out.
So there are no blind alien xenomorph in the sewers then?
No.
Okay.
No,
Where you
it's
can
a
just
little different than that.
walk, and you're fine the whole time.
So yeah, it was. I mean, it definitely gets very panicky, and
Yeah.
that was exciting at some points. So it was more of a panic survival than like a survival horror.
Yeah.
And so I highly recommend it if you have PS3. But if you have PS3, you're already playing it anyway, so it doesn't matter. You don't
I
need
have a
my.
PS3. I'm not playing.
You should. I think it's at Redbox.
Could be.
You should check it out. I think you would like it a lot.
I don't have time right now for a 15-hour game.
Then just play it for 10 hours. Just get through it in 10. You're better than me. So, and there's also a multiplayer, which I'm not bothering with because that's not what I care about at all. It sounds interesting. They do some interesting things, but I'm not anywhere capable of speaking to those things because I didn't play them, and I'm not going to because I wanted the single player, and that's what I got. Well done. Anything else?
Jesus, say well done to
Well
yourself.
done. Well done, me.
Well done, me.
They were whispering it
No,
over there in the
nothing
audience.
else.
We're done.
That
We're
was
tapped
not
out. That's a
the
long
audience.
show.
It was a long show.
I had fun though. I had a good time.
It was a good show.
I'm glad you did.
It's a weird show. It's a weird show for us.
yes.
Not a lot of 360 and a lot of other things in E3. So
Not wearing clothes.
That's about right.
did we mention we're totally nude
For the fans.
I figured they could hear that.
for the fans, the people in the audience?
Fans,
The stands demand it.
we're gonna teabag your drum set.
Signedinpodcast.com is our website. You can find links to our Twitter, our Facebook. I'm on Twitter at signedinpodcast. Craig is on Twitter at,
Prof _dresser. And
and Sean is on Twitter at.
Shonix.
Awesome. And you can find links to all of our past episodes, our forums, all the other pseudo radio shows that we currently do, and anything that we do in the future. Who knows?
You can predict the future by looking at it.
Well, you could try. Comments at signedinpodcast.com is our email address. Email us with any questions, comments, or complaints.
Yes.
Or marriage proposals.
Oh, we're all married here.
Doesn't hurt to look. Not joking. I don't even know what that's about.
We're all alone on that one.
We're only going to get them from dudes anyway. It doesn't matter. I mentioned last week on Twitter that and on Facebook that we had a giveaway to do, and I didn't get around to it last week, so it's going to be this week. Okay. So it's going to be through Twitter. It's actually it's video game related, but it's not Xbox 360 related. But it's an art print for Zelda, The Legend of Zelda, the first NES game that was donated to us by Print and Game Club, which is a group or a company that does limited edition art prints based on Nintendo games. Nice. But everybody loves Zelda, right?
Oh yeah,
and it's an awesome print by Dave Perillo, which is one of my favorite artists. So. I think they were limited to like 86, so they donated one to us to give out. So we're going to be doing that through Twitter. So nice. If you're not on Twitter, don't complain to me. It's free. Just sign up for it to do that contest. That's all you got to do. Follow us, though, and we'll have more information on that this week.
You have to follow all three of us.
No, you don't have to follow all three. Just sign in podcast. But you'll probably want to follow all
Sean always keeps blocking me.
Next episode, all I know is coming out is that Deadpool game. The Activision High Moon.
Yeah.
That comes out this week.
Painkiller, probably.
Painkiller comes out. I'm going to fucking rent it.
Do it. I want you to play. You're gonna get like through half a level and you're like, oh my god.
When's The Walking Dead?
How long
when's
the DLC
Dead?
Stuff?
The new Walking Dead.
Oh, the
season 2 won't be for a while, but they're having DLC for the first
one
coming out this summer.
That's what I had heard.
400 days.
Yep. There it is. There it is.
But that's a while yet. You should finish that. Who are you, me?
No.
No, because you will?
He got pulled out of it.
You're not.
I have to redo everything.
Yeah,
it's kind of
that whole
killing.
system was messed up with that game.
Yeah.
It did it to me, but it did it worse to you.
Anyway, so we'll have that Deadpool game probably.
It treated me well.
In retrospect.
And who knows what else.
Yes.
I guess I'm going to get through all of Damnation.
It's called Painkiller.
Oh.
Hell and Damnation. It's the subtitle.
There was a Damnation game,
Yes,
though.
there was a Damnation.
That was
you
terrible.
played that before.
It was terrible. It's probably worse than this other one. Probably not. Are we done?
It's similar to that Taint game.
Taint, Hell and Damnation. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
In Russia, the Force fucks you.
Whoa.
What? What's Yakov Smirnoff in your movie too?
Yakov Smirnoff.
I will give him a part if he would be in it.
He'd look at the size of this dog. What a country.